Common Spirit Health Studios. This is KSL News Radio,
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
9 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour, a Utah lawmaker wants to formalize the process for schools and districts wishing to convert to a 4-day school week.
The state school board does not have a process. So that's what this bill does. It says to the state school board, we want you to create a process.
Utah State Representative Christine Watkins says House Bill 181 would require those going to a 4-day school week to keep track of student progress and test scores to ensure students are not slipping backwards. She says she's working on this bill mostly to help rural schools who have to deal with travel concerns. Attendance at Salt Lake County schools has dropped since the Trump administration authorized immigration officers on campuses. Data from the Salt Lake County School District, obtained by KSL, shows attendance has fallen from 94% at the start of the school year to 87% today. District officials say many families expressed concerns after the Department of Homeland Security announced it could deploy agents on school grounds, prompting the district to notify all families. Both Alpine and Granite school districts also reported attendance dips, but officials are unsure whether it's due to fear of the policy change or winter illnesses. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The Army is seeing a dramatic rise in enlistment. ABC's Jim Ryan says the nation's other military branches likewise are recording a surge in signups.
December 2024 was the best December in years for Army recruiting offices, with 5,877 people signing up to serve. That makes it the best December in years and puts the Army on track to meet its 2025 enlistment goal of 81,000 new recruits. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth credits the election of President Donald Trump, but August, 3 months before the election, saw even more signups than December. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Your money at this moment, the Dow almost even, up 19 points to 44,490. Coming up, we've been dealing with emergency traffic all morning long. We'll get an update on where are the hot spots when we check traffic next. KSL News Time, 9:02. The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Hi, I'm Utah Tax Attorney Jordan Wilcox. In these trying times, when inflation is out of control and our paychecks give us less and less money to support our families, the last thing any of us can afford is for the IRS to garnish wages, levy bank accounts, or seize assets. It's important now more than ever to protect your financial security.
We have reduced our tax liability by over $42,000.
$66,300.
Let us safeguard you. Visit endtaxworry.com. We have saved countless taxpayers like you millions of dollars, kept businesses in operation, and ensured that our clients receive the best possible outcome.
Nearly $65,000.
$12,000 is something that you can look at and say, okay, I can handle that.
I'm Jordan Wilcox, your Utah tax attorney. You work hard for your money. Let us work hard for you. Visit endtaxworry.com.
We're very grateful.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors, and I'm proud to tell you, we don't lay off employees when things get tough. During the pandemic, we didn't let one of our installers go. Instead, we had them clean and remodel our offices so they could still get paid. Remember the 2008 housing crisis? It was a financial nightmare for even the biggest contractors. Still, we didn't lay off a single worker. Nope, we sacrificed profits to keep paying everyone. Look, when the economy's down, most contractors are quick to lay off their workers. It's the easiest way to save money when times get tight. But at RGS Exteriors, we're loyal to our people. You know why? Because it's the right thing to do. People first. People always. That's the RGS way. For gutters, siding, windows, and more, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's rgsexteriors.com, 801-280-3110.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery. Ends President's Day. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Emergency traffic on KSL News Radio, brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Here's Heather Kelly.
It is a bad time to be on the roadways, especially if you're northbound I-15 trying to get out of Utah County. You saw the little bit of delay in Springville, again through all of Linden, and then just after 2100 north in Lehigh, all the way over the point of the mountain to 53rd south in Murray. All of that due to multiple crashes, at least 6 of them. They've all cleared at the moment, but the delays have not. Then we've got a brand new crash in the Mill Creek area. This is right in the middle of the intersection of 3300 south, 700 east. Mostly northbound and westbound lanes of travel are affected, but some southbound lanes as well. So you're seeing the backups there. Otherwise, you're going to have an okay drive on the rest of the roads. When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing exceptional service from 4 dealers: Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, Performance Toyota, and Truck Country. See performancebountiful.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather now. There's a small chance of snow today. It'll still be cold, though, with highs in the 30s. Right now, it's not even that. It's 26 degrees and mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com, we're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories. On KSL News Radio, Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
Now, I know I could not afford a water bill of $1,000 a month for my home and my yard. Yet that's what one couple says, Dave, that they'll eventually be paying if Provo City goes forward with a water rate increase. And we're going to talk about it.
I'm not sure Elon Musk can afford a $1,000 a month water bill. I mean, that is insane. So how does this happen, right? I mean, I know we're supposed to take shorter showers and have instead of the green lawn Kentucky bluegrass, we're supposed to let it die off a little bit in the heat of the summer. But what can justify $1,000 a month, raising your water rates to $1,000 a month?
Well, we'll ask that of Provo City Council, the vice chair. She's waiting on the line, and when we're going to talk to her in just a few minutes about this water rate increase that residents of Provo are facing. I think this is a sign of things to come for a lot of cities, though. It might not go up that much, but there's a lot of aging infrastructure that needs to be repaired, and water, well, it seems to be a scarce resource for our lawns and maybe even our long showers. But let's take the case for just a minute of the Robertsons. They're an older couple. They own a 1-acre piece of property with large trees, a garden. It looks like they have a small fruit orchard. And they lived in their home for years. And they currently pay about $400 to $500 a month for water, which sounds like a lot to me. That sounds like a lot.
That's still a lot, right.
Well, KSL5 Television's Brian Carlson went to their home to talk to them about this looming water rate increase in their city.
Under Provo's new proposal, the Robinsons would be considered excessive water users, paying prices at the highest of 3 tiers. If passed, this spring, their rate would go up 33%. But by year 8, a whopping 118%.
Instead of $400 to $500 a month, we're talking around over $1,000 a month.
And that is a monstrous jump. Now, listen, 1-acre property, that's pretty rare. Like, we don't have a lot of 1-acre properties, so this is a good size home, even though it's a little bit older. Large trees, garden. It doesn't sound like they're just opening up the spigot and letting it all run out. this is just, to maintain a small fruit orchard, a garden, some large trees. Is that really going to cost $1,000 a month? That seems excessive for a community, for a small little, a family that's been there for years, and then to see it double.
Rachel Whipple is the Provo City Council Vice Chair. I asked her to join us on the air this morning to help walk us through and maybe help us understand, Rachel, why the rate increase. So thanks so much for joining us. Maybe we can start there. Why does Provo City, why do they need this rate increase? Let's talk about that first.
First off, thank you so much for having me on. This is a huge issue. As a council, we have been exploring this idea. We've actually had 8 different meetings about it, about the need for this, and the administration has presented to us. What we have come to know is that we have $8 million of capital projects related to the water delivery system that need to be done. This was presented to us by the administration. It was debated and approved by the council. So this need is established. And what we're doing now is looking at the most fair way to fulfill that need so that we can continue to have reliable delivery of great water and so that everyone continues to have access to the water that they need.
So this is an infrastructure need primarily. Is it being too punitive for people that own maybe more than that quarter-acre lot? Does it unfairly target these homes with larger lots?
Yeah, we are trying to avoid being punitive in every way that we can here. One issue that we have to consider is that the cost of the system is related to the highest demand, the most use that we have on the single highest water use day in the summer. We have to have a system with that level of capacity. And so the water users who use the most are the ones who put us into that higher tier of having a more expensive system that we all are paying for. Now, what we're trying to do is look at tiered rates. And this is kind of a complicated thing because not only are there tiers based on how much water you're using each month, but the tiers are different based on what kind of a water meter connector you have. If you have a standard 3/4 inch pipe connector, like, a normal small residential home in the middle of town, or if you've got a bigger one, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, those have different rates and different gallons of water in each of the tiers. So if you've got a large lot, you probably have one of those 1 inch connections. And in that case, your tiers are pretty big because we already are recognizing on the public works side that you need to have additional water for your size of property and for the use that you're doing.
Rachel Whipple is the Provo City Council's vice chair. She's joining us on the air this morning because Provo City residents are facing a water rate increase. And in one case, KSL 5 Television spoke to a couple who said their bill eventually could go up as high as $1,000 a month for their 1 acre piece of property. So, Rachel, when you talk about those tiers, my eyes start to glaze over, and I get I get a little nervous because I'm thinking if I bought a home in Provo, I wouldn't know if I had a 3/4 inch pipe or a 1 inch pipe. But what is the average person going to have to sustain in terms of an increase to their water bill? Do you guys have any information on that you can help us get a better grasp of what people are facing?
Yeah. So what we're looking at is to have a 12% increase in revenue for the next year. How that gets divided out among the users depends on their actual usage. But with that 12% increase, the average monthly water bill will go from about $48 to $54 a month. Now, we recognize that your use in winter is different than your use in summer. And so averaging this out, you're going to be spending more in summer, just like you have been. But one thing that we're looking at is right now, Provo has a winter rate for water that's very low and a summer rate that's much higher. And so we would be changing for all year. There is a proposed Tier 1 rate for 10 1,000 gallons of water, and that would be enough water for all of your household use for the average family. And then there would be a second tier that is for 10 to 55 kilogallons, and that takes care of most people through most of the year. And then it would go up to the higher rate at a 55 level. So most people, if they reach into that highest tier, would only do so for maybe 2 or 3 months out of the summer.
Would this be a permanent rate adjustment, or once you recoup that capital cost on the investments, would it come back down or would it maintain?
Oh, this is one of the sad things. I don't know that costs ever go down. So what we'd be looking at is 12% in the first year, and then another 8% increase, and 7% and 6% for until 2033. That's because for years we have not been paying enough to adequately maintain our aging pipe system. We've been spending about $9 million a year on this repair and rehabilitation when we should have been spending $14 to $18 million a year. That kind of a big deficit is going to take us a long time to overcome. And the problem is with our aging pipes, the older they are, the more likely and the more frequently they fail. And the cost of repairing a failed pipe is much more than the planned cost to go ahead and replace it on a regular schedule. So if we don't do this, we are going to have more water disruption, and we're going to be spending for all of this patchwork, but we aren't going to be creating the reliable system that we need.
So the cost will go up year after year after year till the year 2033?
That's the plan. And most of those increases are 6%, which right now is a little bit more than standard inflation, but isn't even really keeping up with the cost or the expected construction cost inflation. Because this $80 million is in today's dollars, not the cost of what it will be in the future.
Just to clarify, you said $80 million in repairs, Rachel?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time. Rachel Whipple, Provo City Council Vice Chair, thank you for joining us.
So my take is this is a sign of things to come for other cities as well. We have aging infrastructure. Mm-hmm. We see it with water main breaks. People have probably felt it when the water main or the sewer line breaks. We have aging infrastructure all over the place. Now, cities try to keep up with it, try to keep up with repairs, try to replace it. But I think this is a sign of things to come. And a $1,000 water bill for the Robertsons per month in the summer might not be the norm for everybody, but it's going to get more and more expensive to water your lawn if you live in Provo, maybe other areas as well, but we're talking about Provo right now. I think the other issue here is our young families can't even afford to buy a home, and if they do get into a home, the utilities could potentially price them out of maintaining that home.
I can guarantee you when I bought a home, I did not give a second thought about how much the water bill was, these are the hidden costs that you know exist, but you may not know exactly how much it's going to cost your electricity. But I told you in the last couple of years on my street, which is probably 40 years old, 50 years old, I had 2 different sinkholes. We had 2 different sinkholes from ruptures because of this aging infrastructure. It is very, very easy to forget about the buried pipes. We never see them until you have that sinkhole, until you see a major problem. And as Ms. Whipple was talking about, this is extremely expensive. When you have to go in, you have to repair, you have to patch, you have to backfill. This is extremely expensive. Infrastructure in general, extremely expensive. That's why we ignore it as long as we do.
I want texts. 57500. What city do you live in? What's the highest water bill you've paid? If you own a home in that city, we're talking about homes, not businesses right now. Businesses are a discussion for another time. Home. You own a home in a city. What is the highest water bill you've ever paid? My highest water bill was in the neighborhood of $200 when I lived in Cottonwood Heights, and I about fell over when I opened the bill. I lived on a little more than a quarter acre. I think it was even more than that. Had older trees. My front yard was mainly xeriscaped. Not quite sure it was xeriscaped to perfection, but it was xeriscaped. Backyard was likely Kentucky bluegrass, some big trees. $200 a month. That doesn't even include the maintenance of the yard, the sprinkler system, keeping up with the trees, keeping up with the mowing, paying somebody to come in and mow so the yard itself was financially eating me alive in the summertime. I mean, it was several $100s a month. So I looked up today, what are lots looking like these days? Home Builders Association last summer did a report, and they said close to a third, 65% of new single-family detached homes sold in 2023 were built on lots under 9,000 square feet, which is less than 1/5 of an acre. I would just say, as a homeowner for a long time, you are wise to build on a smaller lot and do native plants that make sense and don't guzzle a ton of water.
But that's one of the things where my heart goes out to the Robertsons, who have been in their home for decades. They were lucky enough to own this home early on a large piece of land. And what they have, it sounds fairly reasonable for an acre lot. They have some trees, a little orchard, a garden. This is a perfect use for an acre of land in a neighborhood. So to double what they have to pay, it does feel like it's kind of singling out anyone that had the nerve to buy an acre lot, right? And I think we got to be careful about that, especially for these generational homes that where a half an acre or an acre wasn't totally abnormal. It's totally abnormal now, but 40 years ago it wasn't.
57500, what city do you live in? What's the highest water bill you've ever been saddled with? We just spoke with the Provo City Council Vice Chair Rachel Whipple about a rate increase that is looming for Provo City residents. And one couple that KSL5 Television spoke to said it could eventually drive the cost of their water bill up to $1,000 a month.
Yeah, we are trying to avoid being punitive in every way that we can here. One issue that we have to consider is that the cost of the system is related to the highest demand, the most use that we have on the single highest water use day in the summer. We have to have a system with that level of capacity. And so the water users who use the most are the ones who put us into that higher tier of having a more expensive system that we all are paying for.
A couple of things come to mind. Number one, infrastructure absolutely needs to be addressed statewide. Every city needs to look at it and look at these capital investments. It's extremely expensive. So I'm very sympathetic to that cause. Also, when you said my highest bill was $200 for water, I was always on secondary water. And, we weren't watering our grass with drinking water, which is what a lot of cities do. And again, this is because I think there was some poor planning when it came to infrastructure. We should never be watering grass with culinary water. That just seems like an infrastructure failure. So have we examined saying, you know what, instead of expanding and updating and increasing the pipes of our culinary water, maybe it's cheaper to run secondary water?
On our text line, 57500, I asked you how much you pay for your water bill for 1 month. What's the highest water bill you've ever had? Mine was $200 1 month in the summer. I lived in Cottonwood Heights. South Jordan, $450. They have a 1.5 acre lot. $450 in South Jordan on a 1.5 acre lot. Here's one from Taylorsville. I lost you there. Okay, there you are. $463 in T-ville, in Taylorsville. That's how he found out, or she found out, there was a water main break.
That'll teach you. I mean, we see that also, like, a leaky toilet. That's why.
Here's another one in Eagle Mountain, 0.11 acre. So just about, a tenth of an acre. Yeah. $110 to $120 for 1 month, consistent in summer and winter. Oh, it's like an equal pay thing.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to revisit this conversation in the 11 o'clock hour as Provo residents facing what some are calling an astronomical water rate increase in the city. The city expected to take some action potentially this afternoon on that. We're going to check back in with the city in the 11 o'clock hour to see where things stand on the vote. Straight ahead, let's dive into this story. A man gets told to stop talking on a speakerphone in public. If you don't like it when people talk on their speaker, on their phone in public, I think you're going to smile when I explain what happened next.
Emergency traffic brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. And we've got a rollover crash right in the middle of the intersection of 3300 South Highland Drive. All northbound lanes of Highland Drive are being diverted onto 33rd South. Is causing a bit of delay in all directions. And you still have major slowdowns northbound 15 coming out of Utah County into the Salt Lake Valley due to half a dozen other crashes. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Join the smartest conversation in Utah. The team of analysts and political advisors that make up Inside Sources. Get unfiltered analysis of the new administration, the president's cabinet, and Utah's upcoming legislative session. Inside Sources, weekdays from 1 to 3 on KSL News Radio.
You ever notice when someone takes a sip out of a water bottle and they find it to be really good? They always seem to look at the label. Folks just can't help themselves when they take a sip out of a little spring water bottle. Well, there's a reason it's called nature in a bottle. No chemicals, no additives. It's just pure, clean, healthy water from a family-owned and operated bottled water company. And that little spring is nestled in a beautiful canyon in Bear Lake, Utah. Now, just imagine the reaction from your customers if that bottle of pure goodness wore your logo, designed just right to make your name stand proud. In the advertising world, they call those unique impressions. Of course, when you drink Little Spring Water, you'll just call it impressive. Let Little Spring Water help hand your customers something they will remember. Just visit littlespringwater.com to get a quote. It's actually quite reasonable. littlespringwater.com.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program in the John M. Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. I think by now most of you are used to the Management Minutes, but how about a Management Hour live? On February 13th, I'm launching my new book, Highly Reliable Teams When Failure is Not an Option. If you're interested in building better teams, please join us for an open house at the Utah State University Salt Lake campus in Taylorsville. We'll have a book signing and training for team leaders where we can learn together the 9 critical qualities of highly reliable teams. This is a free training for new and seasoned team leaders. Again, that's February 13th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Food, book giveaways, lots of learning. Experience an MBA class firsthand, absolutely free. Go to utahstatemba.com for more information. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you there.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
Check out AMCO's multiple financing options so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Myth. You might have heard that you need to spend a fortune these days to get a powerful computer. Correction. At PC Laptops, we wanted to prove that wrong. So here's the most amazing deal that we've ever done at PC Laptops for you in over 30 years. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Take one home today. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $9.99, PCLaptops.com.
Stop paying 5-star pricing for 3-star service. It's time for a change. Welcome to Beehive Plumbing's Premier Experience. With our Beehive Premier plan, you have access to our VIP phone number and website to ensure prompt and reliable plumbing service by an expert 5-star technician. Why Beehive? Our Premier package comes with an industry-leading warranty, giving you up to 10 years of coverage on both parts and labor. Yeah, that's right, 10-year warranty. Call Beehive Plumbing today or visit beehivepremier.com for expert experience every time.
It's 9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour. In Provo, water prices may be raising today, leading to some astronomical costs for some residents. City Council is considering raising water prices on a 3-tier system. KSL TV reports one couple who the city would consider excessive water users could see their water bill go up by as much as 118% over an 8-year period. The Robertsons own an acre of land and switched to city water in 2017, but are now wondering if that was the right choice.
Hey, guys, I made some decisions about how I'm watering my property based on what you told me, and now you're kind of sticking it to me.
The council will vote on this issue today, and anyone who'd like to voice their opinions are encouraged to attend. Mortgage rates dipped a bit last week, and some experts believe we're headed for more volatility. Mortgage lender for Momentum Loans, Al Bingham, says that we could see some fluctuations, especially with all of the changes at the White House in the last month.
The market's trying to see what the Trump administration is going to do going forward. What are their policies?
But Bingham is optimistic that the shifts in mortgage rates could be in our favor and drop. He says people who've been holding off on making a move may want to get their credit score and lending qualifications in order just in case the market makes a quick shift. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. A new feud is brewing between Elon Musk and OpenAI chief executive Sam Altman.
After Elon Musk put in a $97.4 billion offer to buy OpenAI, a leading artificial intelligence company. Well, Sam Altman is the CEO of that company. He responded very bluntly by saying, no, thank you. The president did launch an initiative with several companies, including OpenAI. So this would raise a conflict of interest for Musk, who is the world's richest man. The billionaire already owns SpaceX, the social media company X, as well as Tesla. And of course, he's now working in the administration.
ABC News senior political correspondent Rachel Scott reporting. Your money at this moment, the Dow's up 25 points to 44,495. Coming up, we've had traffic troubles all morning, cloudy skies and cold temperatures. Traffic and weather together. We'll check it coming up next. KSL News Time 9:32.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Hi, this is Doug Wright, and over the years, you've heard me praise the Connecticut soft water systems. You've heard that so often, you might be tempted to chuck a shoe at your radio. Well, hang on, because I've got some great news. Get this, Connecticut will pay you $50. I'm not kidding on this. They'll pay you $50 to buy a competing water softener from another dealer. Ready for the rules, though? Well, they're pretty simple. Invite Connecticut of Utah to your home for a free estimate on a Connecticut water softener. If within 60 days of hearing them out, you buy any other system from any other water softener dealer, Connecticut of Utah will fork over $50. That's how sure they are that after hearing them out, you won't settle for anything less than a Connecticut water softener. Now, this offer does expire in 30 days, so don't delay. Call Northern Utah's authorized Connecticut dealer, Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, 801-576-8600, or log on to softwaterutah.com. That's softwaterutah.com. Tell them Doug sent you.
Emergency traffic on KSL News Radio, brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Let's check in again with Heather Kelly.
Well, the latest issue is a rollover crash right in the middle of the intersection of 3300 South Highland Drive in Mill Creek. This has all northbound and westbound lanes of travel shut down, so you're going to have to find an alternate route in the area. It's being diverted. Southbound and eastbound have restrictions through that intersection as well, so it's causing delays in all four directions. We also have a crash in the final cleanup station stages on 33rd South 7th East. That's affecting mostly northbound lanes of travel. And then you still have stop-and-go traffic northbound 15 coming over the point of the mountain toward Bangerter Highway, and again over the I-215 South Interchange in Midvale and Murray. All of that due to earlier crashes that happened about 3 hours ago. It's just taking a long time for traffic to clear out. And then we had a truck that dumped a whole bunch of pipes on I-215. This was northbound right as you try to hook onto I-80 near the airport. They just got those cleaned off the road and traffic's moving a little better in that area. Get started on your dream kitchen or bath countertops with special financing from Bedrock Quartz for up to 18 months. Visit bedrockquartz.com for details. That's bedrockquartz.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather, there's a small chance of snow today. It'll still be cold with highs in the 30s. Right now it's 27 degrees in Salt Lake, 26 in Provo, and 25 in Ogden. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Dave, have you ever heard of somebody having a phone conversation on their smartphone and they've got the caller on the line on speakerphone?
Are you looking at me? Are you staring?
I'm just asking you if you've ever heard it.
Are you staring straight at me?
I'm so annoyed when people do this.
Oh, you're annoyed by me?
Yes. You do that?
Why in the world does this bug you?
For two reasons. Put the phone up to your ear if you can. This is just... if you can. I get it. There's circumstances not everybody can. Put the phone up to your ear and have that conversation. Okay, so if I'm the person that is subjected to that speakerphone call, it feels uncomfortable. It feels weird. Like, I don't know why I'm
feels like
to
you're
listen
eavesdropping.
Yeah, or actually like been thrown in the middle of somebody's, discussion with their spouse or whatever. The flip side of that is you put me on speakerphone when I call and you don't tell me that I'm speaking to the masses.
You're speaking to everybody on Front Runner, Deb, just so you know.
You will never get a call from me again. I just, if I'm having what I think is a private conversation and I find out later that you had me on speakerphone, our relationship would need to be patched up. Yeah, first of all, you need to tell somebody you're doing that to them. Okay, why are we talking about this? I'm getting way out over my skis on this because I'm so passionate about it. A man in France facing a $200 fine for taking a phone call on his speaker in public.
The man, only identified as David, tells CNN he was talking to his sister while at a train station. A security employee with the rail company told him if he didn't take the call off speaker, he would be fined. David says he originally thought it was a joke, but after he was handed the ticket, he realized it was not. He has reportedly hired a lawyer and plans to contest the fine. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
It is a little ironic that his name's David because I cannot do the phone up to the ear thing. I always do speakerphone because it's just so much easier to...
Don't you have AirPods for that?
I do have AirPods, but I don't always have those on me most of the time, but I will do speakerphone because it's just way easier to talk on speakerphone than having to hold it all the way up to my ear, and then you start getting the arm cramp and your hand starts falling asleep. Speakerphone is way easier.
So I was smiling when I saw that somebody got fined. David's fighting it. He may actually figure out a way to get unfined. Good for him if he does. But this sends a message. The other thing is, according to the BBC, he was in what's considered a quiet area of the train station. So the BBC reports...
The library section of the
train
station. Okay.
Okay. So he's as Alexandria reported, he was on speaker speaking to his sister. They first told him it was going to be a $150 fine if he didn't turn off the loudspeaker. The fine increased to $200, according to the BBC, when he refused to pay immediately. So maybe they have a fine system right there.
You got to pay right there?
So he's hired an attorney.
Shady.
He'll work it out with them. But let's just talk about what does the etiquette look like to you when you're talking to somebody in public on the phone? And I feel like it goes both ways. I talked about this just a few seconds ago. It's not only when I'm standing there next to you and you're on a conversation with like your best friend or, a family member. It feels uncomfortable for me. I feel like I've been included in this conversation that I really have no say in. The second thing is I cannot stand to find out that I've been on speakerphone after I've been talking for 4 or 5 minutes and the person I'm talking to doesn't tell me until that point that I've been on speakerphone the whole time.
I'll give you that. You should definitely tell people when they're on speakerphone. But I don't understand the problem that you have if I'm talking to somebody on speakerphone and you're standing right next to me. How is that any different than me having a conversation with a friend standing right there that you can overhear?
Because you have an option of not having them on speakerphone. Plus, that friend that you're talking to on the phone instead of in person, do they know they're on speakerphone and they're actually having a 3-way or 4-way or 20-way conversation with other people on tracks? I feel like it's totally different. When you're together in public side by side, you can keep it down, you can whisper. When you're on speakerphone, everything is projected. It's so much louder, and I think it's just inconsiderate.
I don't know if it's any louder than a voice. Like when I'm talking out in public, I don't whisper. I don't put my lips up next to my buddy's ear and just whisper to keep the sound down. We just talk. And you can either choose to eavesdrop or not. So I don't see
why
Where
am I going to go? Eavesdrop or not? That's not.
You can tune people out. You can not pay attention to what they're saying. And this happens all the time. We are constantly out in public with noise. So why does it matter that it's over a phone speaker versus a voice box?
Well, I'm not alone. I am in good company with this. BBC reports some survey results from a survey of British adults. 2,000 of them, 86%, find speakerphone use in shared spaces unacceptable. By the way, 88% consider speaking loudly unacceptable. So, we can't block you out.
Yeah.
So you're going to make me put my AirPods in and turn my podcast up to drown out your conversation. Now you're just flatly inconveniencing me. We're going to take live calls on this. Is it time for the fine when people are on speakerphone in public? 801-575-TALK. We're going to take your calls. Do not put us on speakerphone when you call in. I'm kidding. Of course you can, especially if you're in your car by yourself. But I've also got a list of phone etiquette. The Today Show put together a list of phone etiquette, and this specific conversation is on this 7 or 8 point, 10 point. I don't know. This is a long list of phone etiquette. So I'm going to go in depth on what's acceptable, what's not acceptable when it comes to etiquette and your cell phone. We'll also take live calls. Is it time for the fine for people like Dave, who just like to chat on speakerphone? 801-575-TALK.
100% Team Dave is, we can have speakerphone conversations. Team Deb is, you take your speakerphone conversations and throw them. We're going to fine you if you dare click that little button that says speaker. I don't want to hear your conversation no matter what, if it's on a phone. 801-575-TALK.
And still so familiar when you wake up.
The newest part of your morning, and still so familiar.
When you wake up and listen to a radio show, it's like you're a part of a family. You're listening in on people you know, and it's magnificent that Andy Farnsworth is sitting in the chair because he's someone we know.
Utah's Morning News. Andy Farnsworth joins Amanda Dixon to bring you important news in the car. 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
One of the things I love about Mountain Home Services is they've taken two great companies, Master Electrical and Mountain Air, and they've brought them together. They've combined forces to create Mountain Home Services.
Yeah, and it's super exciting because that means that honey-do list, it's like one call. You just give them a call and they'll fix your electrical needs. They can deal with that EV charger that needs to be installed. Maybe you want a new generator, recessed lighting. And now they'll even look at giving you, like, installing a fireplace, a gas fireplace. It's super exciting.
I love all of this expertise and in one phone call, because now I'm not trying to chase down a million different people that I don't know. I want to call somebody that I trust, somebody that has their upfront pricing guarantee. Now with Mountain Home Services, what that means is when they come out, give you a bid, they will honor that bid. Even if the job takes a little bit longer and grows, they're still going to honor that bid with their upfront pricing guarantee.
And don't forget, they also will work on your HVAC, your heating and air, and your plumbing. And like Dave said, that upfront pricing guarantee, just ask them about it. That means no hidden fees, 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Check them out online by going to their website, mountainhomeservices.com. That's mountainhomeservices.com.
Or call them, 801-543-2222. Again, that phone number, 801-543-2222.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery. Ends President's Day. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Traffic brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. We still have a rollover crash in the cleanup stages right in the middle of the intersection of 3300 South Highland Drive. Westbound lanes of travel have reopened, but northbound is still shut down at that intersection, so you'll be diverted there. We also have a crash in the intersection of 33rd South, 700 East in Mill Creek. That one also in the final cleanup stages, and it's snowing in portions of the Salt Lake Valley, making for some slick road conditions. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
All the other programs out there push the drugs, and I wanted to do it not using drugs.
Worried about all the side effects from the new weight loss drugs? Let Soda Weight Loss help you let go of the weight for good, without drugs, injections, or side effects.
It was just time. We saw ourselves in a picture and said, let's do it. And he called, and it's just been a wonderful journey. Soda has all the parts that made it successful for us to lose weight. The counseling without drugs, it's the best program in my book.
Soda Weight Loss is the #1 weight loss program in America for client satisfaction and results. And we have the proof at SodaWeightLoss.com. Right now, when you join with a partner, you only pay for one. Let Soda Weight Loss help you drop that belly fat faster than you ever dreamed, naturally. Go to SodaWeightLoss.com right now. Achieve your weight loss goals with your partner and only pay for one. New clients only. Join now at SodaWeightLoss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Soda is state of the art.
Dave and Dujanovic.
A man in France is facing a fine for speaking on his speakerphone when he was at a train station. Fine is about $200. He's fighting it. But that's not the conversation that we're having. He may win that. We don't know. We'll keep you posted. But we want to know what you think about people who speak on their speakerphones when they're in public. I don't like it. I think it's time for the fine. Look, a fine may be a little too heavy-handed, but at least shut it off when somebody turns around and is like, hey, can you please use your AirPods for that conversation?
And can you imagine doing that to somebody that is having a conversation with their buddy that's standing right next to you? Like, you would never turn around and say, could you whisper that conversation, please? It's bothering my little ears. Like, of course not. I don't see any difference between me having a conversation with my buddy standing right next to me or talking to him on my speakerphone. 801-575-TALK. What do you think? Are you team speakerphone talker like me, or team Debbie, which is throw speakerphoners in jail?
I'm not that. I'm not saying that at all.
A jail.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying
or a
that
fine, or just etiquette.
No, I think that ever since we've acquired these phones that we can haul around with us, we've acquired some bad habits as well with those. Like, we could never take our wall phones with us back in the 80s and 90s, but now that we all pack our cell phones with us, we've decided to make up the rules. We can talk out loud and put people on speakerphones, and we let etiquette go right out the window. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you guys?
Good. How's West Point this morning?
West Point is awesome, as always.
What do you think of my take?
You know, I'm usually on Dave's side on a lot of stuff, but I've got to go with Debbie this time.
Awesome, Steve. Say more.
I don't. Yeah. I've got friends. That's all they do. They're always on their phones FaceTiming. I'm like, I don't need to know their entire conversation, right? At the same time, I don't think we should fine people for that. I don't even know how you would enforce that.
Yeah.
I mean, you might even go and get into like First Amendment rights,
that's a good point.
violations or something like that. So, I
think
fine
just
is
like
probably a little
sending a
too much.
message, like a side eye. Maybe not. Maybe a side, because I do see this. Thanks for the call, Steve. Great to talk to you, and also thanks for taking my side for a change. I see this a lot at stores. You bring up the FaceTime thing, or people are walking around stores and showing somebody all of the different, the pillows and stuff and the dishes and all that other stuff. And I'm like, I just don't want to be in the background of your FaceTime call. Like, where are you pointing that camera? Hi, Robert. What do you think? You think that this should be, is this okay by you?
No, I'm so Team Deb on this.
Nice.
There are a lot of us that don't hear real well anyway. And when you get put on speakerphone, you get all of that background noise behind the person you're talking to, and you can't focus on what they're saying. You can't hear them, not to mention the wind blowing or whatever. I actually even ask people when they're calling me from a, like call center or somewhere, do you have me on a headset? And they're like, well, what does that matter? And I'm like, well, because I hear everybody in the background, I can't even hear you.
Yeah.
And that's when they don't have the fuzzy little styrofoam thing on the end, and it's not knocking out the wind. Yeah. But yeah, that's totally Team Deb.
Great point, Robert.
I had an
Great
old
point.
boss that you.
Yeah, I think about that when I call people who have me on speakerphone. You're right, the background noise is daunting on the ears.
As a couple of TV people that always have a windscreen, that's super annoying to us as well. But listen, I just don't see why you can't just deal with me talking on my speakerphone. Because you have no problem with me talking to a buddy that's standing right next to me. You don't give it a second thought. But as soon as I dare use technology, now I've crossed this crazy line that you've invented, this breach in etiquette all of a sudden, because I dare have a conversation with a buddy. Like, what's the difference if I use technology versus talking to someone in person? I see no difference.
Hi, Mark. Dave needs a teammate. You on Team Dave on this?
Oh, I'm on Team Deb on this. Sorry.
No, don't be
so lonely
no
today.
Apologies needed.
So lonely.
Say more, my friend.
See, the guy that just was on the phone ahead of me is kinder than I am because I sarcastically think in my head, oh, thanks for sharing. It's one of those things where, again, when I'm by myself, I'm fine to do it. If I'm 50 feet away from somebody, I'd probably do it. But, yeah, I'd let you know for sure. And we tend to speak louder, seems like. So
shouting over the speakerphone.
Yeah, and maybe I'm probably in my own thing or doing something, and here's a conversation. So yeah, I'm Team Deb.
Thanks, appreciate it. I love this. We've almost fielded an entire baseball team. Dave is pitcher, catcher, first base, second base.
I am a lone man on an island.
So this is on a list of like do's and don'ts when it comes to etiquette and using your phone in public. Don't use speakerphone. Don't use a speakerphone for calls you make in public. Use your headphones. It's especially true for video calls. This is according to Today.com. The Today Show's put together this list. They said, but if you're outside, like at a park or at the beach, it's not uncommon to see folks using phones for music. It's generally accepted as long as the content is okay for all ages and audiences. I've heard this before on hiking trails. People will use their phones not to talk on the speakerphone, but to play their music. I'm like, we're out in the wilderness. Let's leave it.
You don't want the soundtrack?
Yeah. And I was worried about what lyrics are going to come up next.
Let's try to squeeze in Rodney in North Ogden. Let's see. Am I going to be over this segment? Is there any Team Dave out there, Rodney?
You're over.
Oh, no. I'm just taking the loss on this one.
This is a loss. A definite lost cause.
You're going to have to change my ways.
Rodney, you're the best. Thank you. It's been a complete shutout, and I am proud to be your team captain.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
For over 133 years, Central Bank has been a cornerstone of Utah County, providing generations of families and businesses with trusted community banking services, and are more than just a bank. Central Bank is part of Utah's legacy. With 12 convenient locations across Utah County, Central Bank combines the strength of traditional customer service with the convenience of modern technology. Customized one-to-one service means you're never just another account number, and your phone call actually rings to a real person.
Hi there, thanks for calling Central Bank.
Voted best bank and best mortgage in Utah Valley, Central Bank is here to help you with all your financial needs. From top SBA lending services for small businesses and quick turnaround times on construction loans. They're dedicated to helping you build your future. Whether you're cheering for the Cougars or building your dream home, trust the bank that's been here since the beginning. Central Bank, strong, local, secure, since 1891. Online at cbutah.com or any of 12 Utah County locations. Central Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Sometimes when our furnace stops working, it's something simple we can fix ourselves, if we only knew how. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and the next time your furnace stops working, before you call a company out to fix it, try this first. Go shut the furnace down and make sure your air filter is clean. Go around the house and make sure the vents are open and there's nothing blocking the return air. If it's been a while since you've changed the batteries in your thermostat, go ahead and do that too. Then go turn the furnace back on, and if it stays on, you're probably good. If it stops working again, you're probably going to want a technician to check it out. If you don't know one, Any Hour Services has a special offer for any homeowners listening. One of our HVAC technicians will diagnose and troubleshoot your furnace for only $29. Then they'll explain what they found and present you with repair options. And don't worry, our technicians service all brands. Call Any Hour Services and let them know you heard about this $29 troubleshooting special on the radio. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers,
we've been overindulging a little more than usual over the holidays. But now, we are starting the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day.
Active Liver contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract, all natural ingredients that help protect the liver so that it can protect you from toxins. It's like giving my body a daily detox. I've never felt better, and my energy is through the roof.
And my doctor is already impressed with how much better my numbers are looking. So if better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
Active Liver is available in both tablets and as a delicious gummy. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
As devastating wildfires continue to impact California, the nonprofit Team Rubicon has activated its Emergency Operations Center at its Los Angeles headquarters. From the start, Team Rubicon volunteers, also known as Gray Shirts, have been working closely with emergency management officials. Team Rubicon CEO Art Delacruz has more.
While Gray Shirts do not actively fight wildfires, they are positioned and ready to ease the burden on first responders by educating survivors and addressing other critical needs to mitigate further damage.
Team Rubicon has provided logistical support, distributed supplies, and is preparing for the next phase of response.
These efforts will continue for weeks, months, and even years ahead as Los Angeles continues to come together.
Team Rubicon is celebrating its 15th anniversary this year, serving over 2.9 million people worldwide. For more information on how to help with the LA wildfires, visit trusa.org. That's trusa.org.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour, a Utah lawmaker wants to increase the percentage of votes judges and Supreme Court justices need to retain their seats in general election. Under current law, they only need a simple majority to be retained. The new bill moves the threshold to 67%. KSL legal analyst Greg Skorda says he thinks this bill is not necessary.
It's hard enough to get people to become judges because of such a huge cut in pay. And this seems to be just a little bit of a way to make it even more challenging.
We've reached out to the bill's sponsor for comment, but have not yet heard back. Utah Senator Mike Lee is resuming his role as the chairman of the U.S. Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Antitrust, Competition Policy, and Consumer Rights. He was the chair during the last Trump administration. He takes over the role from Senator Amy Klobuchar. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Egg prices are averaging $8 per dozen around the country thanks to the bird flu. And ABC's Matt Gutman says the price hikes aren't over.
Egg prices could go up another 20% this year, according to the Department of Agriculture. And because of the life cycle of hens, it would likely be another 6 months before new healthy flocks mature and prices stabilize. And that's assuming that there are no additional bird flu outbreaks.
Gutman says several large retailers are now limiting the number of eggs people can buy. Your money at this moment, the Dow up 41 points to 44,509. Coming up, storms on the way. Weather and a check of traffic is up next. KSL News Time is 10:01.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
It's the Advanced Window Products President's Day sale. If the cold is seeping in through your old windows, Advanced Window Products will install state-of-the-art double-pane windows with insulated frames. Your home will take on an exciting new look, and you're going to save on your heating bill. And not for nothing, your air conditioning in summer. And right now at the President's Day sale, you save $2,500 off 10 windows or more. For 38 years, Advanced Windows has been building beautiful custom windows and frames right here in Utah. There's no middleman, so you save. So keep out the cold, cut down your energy bills, and save $2,500 with one call to Advanced Window Products. 801-850-9100. An expert comes out for a no-pressure consultation. They'll tell you about the payment plans, including no payments for 24 months. The Advanced Window Products President's Day sale. Get $2,500 off. Call 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or just go to advancedwindows.com.
Did you know the Social Security Trust Fund is projected to run out of money in less than 10 years? Yes, 10 years. And according to Barron's, this could cost the average couple $16,500 every year in lost income. Now multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could easily add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why it's critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security. Learn more in a free report. Your guide to filing for Social Security in 2025 and beyond. It's from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, get your free report now by calling 801-251-1046. 801-251-1046. That number again, 801-251-1046.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery. Ends President's Day. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
It's time for the Sportsman's Vacation and RV Show February 13th through the 16th at Mountain America Expo. Save $2 at UtahRVShow.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Heather, it's nice to not have to fire the emergency sounder.
I know, for the first time in about 3 hours. We've got good speeds right now northbound I-15 through Utah County, and as you make your way over the point of the mountain through most of the Salt Lake Valley. Also, the earlier rollover crashes we had in Mill Creek, one at 33rd South and Highland, the other at 33rd South and 7th East. Those are cleared. All the lanes are open. But we do have snow falling across portions of the Salt Lake Valley, and that is creating a few wet road conditions. It may even be slick, so just slow down your speeds and use caution. Roses are red, violets are blue. Odyssey Dance has a Valentine's deal for you. 2 tickets for the price of 1. Take your Valentine and have some fun. Visit odysseydance.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather now cloudy with a high of 35 degrees today. And there could be a few scattered snow flurries, but the main storm moves in Thursday, with snow turning to a rain mix that could last into Saturday. Right now it's cloudy and 27 degrees in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Eye on the Hill 2025. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave and I are going to sort through some potential changes that are being discussed to our election laws up on Utah's Capitol Hill while the legislature is in session. And previously, you and I have talked about the potential for a change to the mail-in ballot system, where the ballots would still be mailed out to us, but mailing them back in might not be an option, depending on what lawmakers do. What would happen if they changed this portion of the law is that we would have to return our ballots to a ballot box or a polling place and show voter ID. Well, now, additionally, what's being discussed, they keep the mail-in system. Our mail-in ballots must be in hand by Election Day. So if you are allowed to use a blue box to drop off your mail-in ballot, it'd have to be in hand by Election Day to be counted.
Yeah, as soon as those polls close, then it doesn't matter if you what time you mailed it in. If it didn't arrive, if it's not in hand, then it doesn't get counted. That's one of the pitches.
We're going to speak in just a moment to Representative Jefferson Burton. He's the chair of the Government Operations Committee up on Capitol Hill. He's waiting on the line, but before we get him into the conversation, Inside Sources was talking about this yesterday. Representative Doug Fiafia, did I say that right, Dave? I used to get a thumbs up. He's my pronunciation guide here on the show. Spoke to Inside Sources about that particular change we just talked about. It has to be in hand. If you're allowed to use the mail system, it has to be in hand on Election Day.
By the time the polls close at 8 p.m., if the ballot is not in hand, in possession, it doesn't get counted. That doesn't matter if it was mailed 2 weeks before and it was postmarked earlier. This just makes it a clean cutoff, and it puts responsibility on us, the voters, to say, hey, if I'm planning to mail it in, I need to make sure that I'm going to get it there in time.
So what does a perfect election look like? If you're holding an election, what does a perfect election look like? Well, it's got to be accurate, obviously. It's got to be convenient, right? It can't be climbing Mount Everest to try to vote. So you got to have accuracy. You've got to have convenience. It's got to be timely. And that's in part what I think Representative Fiafia is saying is we are one of the last to report on Election Day. We got to be able to speed that up. Now, is it really that important? Right? We don't certify the election for another 2 weeks. Do we have to know by 8 p.m. on Election Day who won. Is that really top of the list? I don't know if it is. Let's talk to Representative Jefferson Burton. He's the chair of the Government Operations Committee. This is where a lot of the election bills go. So, Representative Burton, thank you so much. Like I said, when top of my list, accuracy, convenience, timeliness, I guess maybe is a little bit in the eye of the beholder for me. Why does it have to be done on Election Day in your mind?
Yeah, hey, good morning. Thanks for having me. We aren't tone deaf to the voters. We've been paying attention in many surveys that are out there. And the Southern Y2 Analytics survey, it surprised me just how important timely election result delivery was to the voters. It's one of their top priorities based on some of these surveys. And so the idea is, where do we get our news? Most folks are watching the news on the night of the election, or they're online, and they're watching state after state turn out election results. And Utah doesn't do that. And so part of the responsibility that we have here in government is to make sure that folks have trust in the election system. And when they don't see those results coming out the night of the election, then they get a little nervous about just how secure and how capable is our voting system. Having said that, we understand if an election is really close, you can say too close to call. But most states are using mathematical probabilities based on percentages of votes turned in to declare the election the night of the election. And that's what this is getting after.
So is Capitol Hill concerned that we don't trust the elections because results weren't turned out, full results weren't turned out the night of?
Well, that's part of it. There were other things. 81% of Americans polled said they believe we should be showing identification when we vote. That number was a little lower in Utah. It was just 51%, but still a majority believe that voter ID should be utilized when voting, and that also strengthens voter confidence in the process.
Can we expand that thought a little bit? Because as I'm looking at timeliness, I wonder if the voter ID element of this, one of the bills which would, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the bills that has been proposed is you can mail out the ballots, but when you drop it off, you'd have to drop it off at a ballot box and then provide your ID to prove, hey, this is my ballot, here's my ID. Would that speed up the entire process? Because I would think if I'm dropping off my ballot, I show my ID, I probably wouldn't need a signature verification. We probably could do away with signature verification at that point. Would that speed up the process?
Well, and that's one of the things we want to do is do away with the signature verification. That's a big problem with our elections right now is just the time it takes to verify signatures. And the point is signatures are not really ID. ID's ID. So, yes, it would speed it up on that side of the process. The challenge is just going to be making sure that when you go to that polling station, you're not waiting in line. And really that's the logistical challenge that would come with that type of a situation.
We're talking live right now to Representative Jefferson Burton. He's the chair of the Government Operations Committee on Utah's Capitol Hill, which that's where the election bills are considered, is in that committee. Representative, okay, I need some clarification on this, and maybe I'm the only one who's just a little confused about this. My understanding was from a couple of weeks back, Utah lawmakers were talking about getting rid of the mail-in part of our mail-in ballot system. So we'd still get our ballots via mail, but we would have to, as Dave and you were talking about, drop them off at a ballot box and show a valid ID when we did that. And now I'm reading about this other legislation that we're talking about as well, where your mail-in ballot, if you mail it in, have to be to beat the deadline of when the polls close in order for it to be counted. So are we still going to be able to mail in our ballots after all?
Yes. So the way the bill that you're talking about works is that you will receive your materials in the mail as usual, be able to talk around the dinner table about your voting selections. And then when you make those selections and seal the envelope, you'll be required to take them to a polling station, show the ID, and drop them off. There'll be a chain of custody to ensure that those are secured. They'll go directly to the respective county clerk for tabulating, and the county clerk will tabulate only the votes they have on hand the night of the election, with a couple of exceptions. There is an opt-in to vote by mail still, so if people love that, they can still vote by mail. They just opt in to do it. And the point I want to make is, even in the last election, 65% of Utah voters did not mail in their ballot. They took it to a ballot box because they maybe didn't trust the system to get that ballot there on time. And so the majority of our citizens are already dropping off at a ballot box and not using the post office on the back end. We could talk about some of the challenges we have with the post office if you want to go down that road. But
I just want to make sure I'm clear. So will we still have an option when the legislature ends the session, at least in your view at this point, to mail in our ballots if we want to opt into that system?
Yes, ma'am. You will, and I'm confident that will be available to people by the end of the session. We are talking about a lot of things here, but we're trying to just add the voter in-person verification for ID to increase voter confidence. We're trying to remove the post office from the back end of the equation, and we're trying to speed election results release. And so those are the things we're trying to accomplish.
So if Debbie still wants to mail her ballot in, would there still be a signature verification requirement for that as well? So it does seem like we'd have both signature verification aspects and then voter ID.
Not necessarily. We're talking about, and obviously you understand, we communicate with the Senate. We work back and forth. We give and take. We are talking about options for how we would do that. There may be a way to verify those mail-in ballots in a similar fashion with maybe showing ID or having a photocopy of ID or something like that. We're looking at a lot of options so that on the back end we don't have that signature verification. That's a dinosaur. It doesn't work well. It takes a lot of time. And really, for me, I hear a lot of voters say, well, you're going to disenfranchise me if you take away the vote by mail. We're not taking it away, number one. But number two, if you want to talk about disenfranchisement, how about those 20,000-ish votes, 4% of all the ballots turned in that were never cured and they didn't count? And we want to stop that so that when somebody takes the time to vote, that we can identify them quickly and that their vote counts.
The signature aspect of it is interesting. This is kind of one of the first times I've heard lawmakers talk about removing the signature signature verification aspect of it. We've had that for quite a while. So I guess maybe that helps clarify in my own understanding that this voter ID would truly replace the signature verification. And then I would think on a more county level, the county clerks that are running this, they would be able to redistribute some of those resources because many of their resources are used as signature verifiers or signature or making sure that the signature verification is going through.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They could repurpose those employees and or volunteers to other functions like polling stations because we wouldn't have to do this signature curing. The other thing I want to mention quickly, absentee ballots won't change. The way I was in Europe for 4 years, I was able to vote absentee ballot. That's going to continue. And also there's a provision in there for the handicapped or infirm. We have an electronic voting methodology for people like that just simply can't get around. So that's also in there.
Representative, we know your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending so much of it with us. Just final question or final thought: what's your level of concern that there have been so many changes or discussions about changes over the years to how we vote that you're reaching a point of maybe confusing residents on what they can do and what they can't do?
Yeah, I just want to be very clear. No matter what happens up here, vote by mail will still exist. If you want it, you can opt in for it. That's number one. Number two, everything we're doing is honestly trying to increase voter confidence in the process. When you live in a free republic, if you don't have free and fair, verifiable elections, then to me, that's foundational to the republic. And so we're trying to make sure that that's there using in-person ID to verify that you're actually able to vote. And then the other thing is we've got to do a much better job, and we plan to put some resources toward education to help people understand exactly what the new processes will be. And thankfully, this next election is a midterm. It's not a presidential, and so we'll have an opportunity to exercise that before we have a massive major federal election.
The soft launch. I appreciate that. So, Representative Jefferson Burton, thank you so much for joining us. He's the chair of Government Operations Committee, and that's kind of where the election bills go.
We also had a recorded phone call earlier. One of our producers, Andy Cupp of Inside Sources, contacted Ricky Hatch, who's the Weber County clerk. And we asked him, about some of these changes that are potentially happening on Capitol Hill, at least they're being discussed. First of all, what about moving up the deadline to get your ballot, into the hands of a county clerk before the polls close?
The clerks have always held when talking about the deadline, we've always said, look, you pick a deadline. That's a policy call. You pick a deadline, just stick to it. Don't change it because that creates confusion for the voters. And the other thing is we need to make sure that people understand that if we change the deadline to 8 p.m. on Election Day, ballot in hand, that is not going to result in us releasing results faster. As Americans and as voters, we're really good at procrastinating. And election officials, we receive about half of the ballots the day before and the day of Election Day. And one thing you don't want to rush is processing somebody's signature, verifying their signature, and processing their ballot. We don't want to cut corners or rush that process. Changing the deadline to close the polls on Election Day will help a little bit, but by and large, the voters are still going to wait. They're still going to vote at the last minute, and we still have to process those. So it's not going to result in a dramatic increase or speeding up of the results.
That perspective from Ricky Hatch, who is the county clerk in Weber County, that a lot of us procrastinate. It's a habit that a lot of us have, and so that won't necessarily help them when it comes to speeding up the count of the vote. Also, I asked a representative just a few moments ago about the tweaking and all the changes that we're talking about in our election laws. And here's what the county clerk, Ricky Hatch, said about that.
In elections, consistency is crucial. That's what voters need, and that's what election administrators need. Still, we should make improvements. We should constantly be improving processes and controls to make sure that it's absolutely as secure as possible. So there's kind of a fine balance. When we have 30 to 40 election bills every legislative session, it's hard to put a stake in the sand and do things consistently. So I love the idea of keeping things consistent for the voters especially, but we can't stick our head in the sand either and not look at improvements. So it's really kind of a fine balance.
And I would agree with him there that consistency is the key. We don't want to have to reinvent the wheel every single election cycle. Now, the revelation, I think really the breaking news here in my own mind, is that lawmakers are really looking at getting rid of signatures, that signature verification, and replacing the signature verification with full-on government ID. And this is what Ricky Hatch had to say about verification.
The concept of some kind of additional verification, either in addition to the signature or in lieu of the signature, is something that we're looking at. The bill that's proposed creates a lot of logistical headaches for voters, and I think voters in Utah, they love vote by mail because, one, they receive their ballot early and they can look at it and research it at their kitchen table, and two, they can return it conveniently. This solution would take away number two. It would make it far less convenient for them to return it because you would see lines and challenges before Election Day as well as on Election Day. There are other solutions that clerks are proposing that we think address the concern that the legislature has over signature verification, but still provides the accessibility and the convenience for voters.
And that's ultimately, I think, what we're trying to figure out is what's the best way to make sure we're accurate, that we're timely, that it is convenient. One thing that surprised me more than anything, Pew Research recently did a deep dive on this, is 81% of Americans like the idea of requiring a government ID to vote. So this crosses both Republican and Democratic lines. This is not partisan. And 81% of Americans say, yeah, absolutely, we should have government ID. And in my mind, if we're using government ID, that removes the necessity to sign your ballot and then try to verify it. That just seems like such a clumsy way to verify whether or not you really are you.
The newest part of your morning, and still so familiar.
When you wake up and listen to a radio show, it's like you're a part of a family. You're listening in on people you know, and it's magnificent that Andy Farnsworth is sitting in the chair because he's someone we know.
Utah's Morning News. Andy Farnsworth joins Amanda Dixon to bring you important news in the car. 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
If you've ever set New Year's resolutions before, you know how difficult it is to follow through because you have to wait to see the results. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and in honor of your New Year, New You resolutions, Any Hour Services is having our New Year, New System sale. From now until the end of February, Any Hour Services will give you $2,025 off a new furnace and air conditioner. And you don't have to wait to save the money. You get $2,025 off at the time of purchase. The only thing you have to do to qualify for our New Year, New System sale is call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate. When you call, there's no obligation to buy. Just schedule a time to meet that works best for you. Let me say that again. From now until the end of February, when you have Any Hour Services install a new furnace and air conditioner, we'll give you $2,025 off. Call Any Hour Services right now and schedule a free estimate. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
For 72 hours, you can save up to 50% off when you buy tickets to your favorite Tuacahn shows this season. Get the best deals on tickets to Tuacahn's Broadway shows, like Disney's The Little Mermaid, The Wizard of Oz, Newsies, Elf, and $1 Million Quartet. Visit Tuacahn.org now through February 13th. Use promo code 72radio for buy one, get one, up to 50% off Broadway tickets. That's 72 Radio at Tuacahn.org.
Don't miss the Dave's Bernina Super Weekend Sale at their Provo and St. George locations. Save up to $2,500 on Bernina long arm machines. The B500 and 700 models start as low as $1,999.
Come see the Bernina 990, the most amazing revolutionary sewing machine in the world.
All machines are on sale. Below 2.9 interest for 60 months.
Amazing bargains on trade-ins, classroom, and demo machines. Dave's Bernina, 691 East St. George Boulevard and 2017 North 550 West in Provo.
Bish's is skipping this year's big RV show for a big reason. It costs each dealer a fortune, and guess who gets stuck with the bill? Yep, you. So skip the big show expense and come to the Bish's RV Better Than Show Pricing on-site event, February 13th through the 15th at Bish's RV of Salt Lake and American Fork. You'll get free admission, free parking, and Better Than Show pricing on our entire inventory at both locations. Not just a few models we hauled to the show. Find pricing starting as low as $139 per month on approved credit and make 0 payments until May OAC. Plus, every remaining new 2024 on the lot is on clearance. And Bish's is the only place to shop the exclusive full lineup of Wayfinder RVs. Start shopping the best deals now at skipthervshow.com. Get free admission to the Better Than Show pricing on-site event, February 13th through the 15th at Bish's RV in Salt Lake and American Fork, where memories begin. OAC, based on 20% down, 8.99% APR for 180 months. Stock numbers 84832, 84308. Subject to prior sale. See delivery details. Deal number 822B, 426B.
A CPA should be the first person you think of to help you get the most from your taxes. CPAs are the most qualified professionals to prepare your taxes, maximize your refund, minimize your tax liability, and tax plan your future years. CPAs are more competitive price-wise than the big box stores. Along with extensive tax expertise, CPAs also provide personal financial planning, business growth strategies, and general accounting services. Your CPA can make valuable tax-saving suggestions that a software program can't anticipate. For 100 years, the Utah Association of CPAs has served the professional community as the go-to resource for education, training, and advocacy as trusted advisors. They want you to get the best when it comes to your financial health. Hire a CPA and get the best. Go to uacpa.org to find a CPA that's right for you. That's uacpa.org. Proud sponsor of the Money Making Sense podcast with Heather Kelly. Download wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour. The Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office has closed a missing persons case from 20 years ago. A body found in a submerged car in Starvation Reservoir last September has now been positively identified as missing person Stephen Anderson. The medical examiner says no foul play is suspected, and the Sheriff's Office sends its condolences to the Anderson family. A Utah lawmaker is pushing to change the law surrounding liability with dog attacks. Under the current law, you can be held liable in civil cases if your dog attacks someone trespassing on your property. Senator Karen Kwan is looking to make it so.
If somebody has criminally trespassed on your property and your dog hurts them, you are not liable.
The bill has received unanimous support in the Senate and is now on its way to the House. Another bill seeking to increase the total amount of money you can claim from a dog attack injury in civil cases has also cleared its first legislative hurdle. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. President Trump is meeting with the King of Jordan today. The president will talk about his plan to relocate Palestinians out of Gaza with the idea that the U.S. would then clear out the debris and redevelop the land once the war with Israel is over. The president says he's willing to withhold aid from Jordan and Egypt if the countries are unwilling to go along with his plan. Your money at this moment, the Dow's up 0.1%, 46 points to 44,516. Coming up, storms ahead, including maybe some more moisture on the ground. KSL weather is coming up next. KSL News Time, 10:31.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
One of the things I love about Salt Lake City Fat Loss is the amount of communication they had with me on the program. So the first 60 days is what they call a reduction phase, where they will walk you through step by step what you should be doing, how much water you should be drinking, which kind of foods you should be eating, how much. And I was a little intimidated. I thought, I'm just going to be starving. For 2 months, I'm going to be starving. But I was amazed at how much food that I could eat when you choose the right foods. And they tell you exactly what foods you can eat, why you can eat them, how your body processes them. And it was incredible to see the results. With the Salt Lake City Fat Loss Program, I lost 57 pounds in 60 days. And if you're interested in giving it a shot right now in February, they got a great little deal going on, an extra $200 off the Salt Lake City Fat Loss Program. Go ahead and reach out, schedule a free consultation. You can lose that weight without surgery, without injections. All you have to do is schedule that consultation by going to slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
Join Mike Stevens of Capital Wealth Advisors for Retire Right Radio, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. That's Retire Right Radio with Mike Stevens, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Traffic and weather together now, brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Let's check in with Heather Kelly.
We finally have good speeds all across the Wasatch Front. No delays right now on I-15, either northbound or southbound getting into downtown Salt Lake City, or the opposite direction if you want to leave downtown. You also have a good drive if you're going on the east and west side belt routes around the Salt Lake Valley and coming out of Tooele County on I-80 and the 201 freeway. Haven't heard of any more crashes happening on city streets or the freeways, so we want to keep it that way, but just be aware we have had some light snow showers that are making some of the roadways a little bit wet and slick. The Murdoch Auto Team is celebrating 100 years of winter journeys at Murdoch Chevrolet. Right now, take up to $6,250 off a new 2024 Equinox. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
See some small scattered snow flurries throughout the day with a high of 35 degrees. Quiet tomorrow, but then a storm moves in Thursday that could bring snow, turning to a rain mix to the valley floors, and the storm should stick around until Saturday. Right now it's cloudy, 27 degrees in Salt Lake, 26 degrees in Ogden, and 28 degrees in Provo. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
President Trump has been at least trying to make a number of very swift budget cuts to save the federal government, taxpayer dollars. Jay Evenson, the opinion editor of the Deseret News, writes, real spending reform will take hard work. We're going to talk to Jay about his latest opinion piece.
Jay, thanks for joining us on this, because this has been so fascinating to watch over the last 3 weeks, what has dominated the headlines. And I think more than anything, Doge has dominated the headlines. Elon Musk has gone into the federal government, and I think everybody is on pins and needles right now.
Absolutely. And I read this morning that he says he's already cut $1 billion, and about half of those are in DEI related activities and expenditures. But, you know, $1 billion is great, but we have a problem in the trillions, and it's going to take my argument is you can't fix it with a sledgehammer. You've got to fix it through negotiation, through some real with an eye toward the people who are being helped by programs, and I'm talking specifically about Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Those are going to have to be fixed through real hard work by the people we've elected to go back to Washington and do hard work.
So what is your take on it? Just talk about this. We'll talk about the thing we talked about yesterday, the pitch to get rid of the penny. Is that the hard work that you're talking about?
No, it's not. I mean, it's low-hanging fruit, right? I mean, there are people who will be sad that we're no longer minting pennies, but come on. I mean, it takes about 3 cents to mint 1 penny, and you can argue that, well, as that penny circulates through the economy, it purchases a lot more than its value. But nobody's circulating pennies anymore. We're keeping them in jars in our homes. You could say the same for nickels, dimes. I read we're only 16% of financial transactions last year were in cash. We're just not using cash anymore. So
you think this is it's maybe optics that they're doing something, but really in reality that's not a huge chunk.
I've seen anywhere
of
from
savings.
From a savings of $179 million to maybe $500 million doing that. And sure, the little things add up, but they really you'd have to be an awful lot of little things to add up to what we really need to do to get out of debt.
Which is?
Well, reforming the entitlement programs. And
Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare?
Yes. Those are tough ones. There are some real solutions out there for Social Security. You can raise the retirement age. Right now, any income over $161,000 a year is exempt from Social Security taxes. You could lift that. Some are saying lift it to $300,000, $400,000, or remove the cap entirely.
Just pause on that for just a moment, Jay. Took me a while to try to understand that. So basically, like if you earn $161,000 a year, over that amount-ish, you stop paying into Social Security for the rest of the year.
For
the rest of the calendar year. And then it resets
right
the next year.
Any income over $161,000.
So by lifting that, just let me finish 1 second, David. Just by lifting that, what you're saying, or getting rid of it altogether, the government would be able to collect more Social Security taxes from the workforce.
Right. And there have been polls that show that most people would agree with doing that. I mean, it affects the very wealthiest people among us. And why should that extra income be exempt?
In part, people, I don't think, realize how much of their payroll is going to Social Security. You pay 6.2%, but your employer pays 6.2% as well. So 12.5% of your salary is going to Social Security, up to that $160,000 range. So if you're making $500,000 or $1 million, high earners, multi-million dollars, you're talking about massive amounts of influx into the Social Security.
Yes, and so some people are talking about increasing that payroll tax. But that's not a very popular notion. Neither is raising the retirement age. They did that back in the 80s, which is why for people my age, the retirement is now almost 66 and 10 months, I think. In France, they started rioting in the streets when they wanted to increase their retirement age, and that was to
64.
To 64, exactly.
Yeah.
And we're already past 65. So these are things, they're difficult, they're hard. You have to come home and look at your constituents and say, I had to vote for this because. But that's what we ought to be demanding out of our politicians. You can't take a sledgehammer and fix those programs.
Speaking of that, they've been accused, if you will, by some of taking a sledgehammer to USAID, which is a foreign aid agency that's been in place since the Kennedy administration. It was John F. Kennedy who launched that program to provide, among other things, medical supplies and vaccines to other countries around the world, as a form of goodwill, because what it did is it brought America to the forefront for people. I heard today on a New York Times podcast, and I would encourage people who want to learn more about this and these cuts to listen to that podcast, because I learned an awful lot about what that program has done. And my understanding is that things that are supplies that are delivered to other countries are marked with the insignia, a gift from the American people, or from the people of the United States of America. So is that the kind of sledgehammer that you're talking about when that is essentially, I know there's some challenges in court, but essentially that agency has come to a standstill in the last couple of weeks?
You can't ignore unintended consequences. And you've just illuminated one of the big ones. We're in a fight for the hearts and minds of people in a lot of third world countries where they have a choice of turning to terrorist groups or groups like ISIS or other nations like China for help. And when we are giving aid to those countries and we suddenly abruptly cut it off, that can lead to despair. And despair, in many cases, leads to anger. And we may not pay the price right now, but in a generation or two, when children over there today grow up and they remember what the United States did, it could come back to haunt us.
But you also have to look at it and maybe ask yourself, can we buy somebody's love? Can we buy somebody's loyalty? Are these kind of gifts and giving programs, are they really delivering? Is there a return on investment? And when we're talking about looking at the fiscal year, a $63.1 billion foreign aid and diplomatic engagement budget, $63 billion. Sure, you can dismiss the, tens of millions of stop printing the penny, but when you're talking about $63 billion in a program, we should be able to see exactly where that money is going and what that return on investment is, because we have a lot of money going to a lot of places where still don't like Americans.
Yes, and of course there's going to be things that can be cut, I think, in any department, and there's probably a waste or misuse of funds. But we can show statistically that the number of deaths, preventable deaths of infants in third world countries has dropped considerably. And it's due not only to USAID, but other groups that provide vaccines. I've spoken to a doctor from, it was an African country, I can't remember which one right now, it was several years ago, but he was telling me about how he used to not have enough bed space for infants who were dying from simple things like diarrhea and the rotavirus, which we haven't heard of here, but is a big deal over there, and how now his beds are empty because of the help of USAID and other organizations. So we can point to some real successes through those efforts.
Well, Jay, you're right. DOJ has their work cut out ahead of them. Is it going to be nibbling at the edges, or is there going to be some big swings? And how popular and what kind of support is there for those kind of?
We really do need to cut spending, and it's going to be tough. We have a $36 trillion national debt and $2 trillion deficit every year, and so difficult decisions have to be made. Let's just do it the right way and not with a sledgehammer.
But I think this is the very struggle you're talking about. When Elon Musk does take a big swing at a program like USAID that has tens of billions of dollars, then we come back and we criticize and we say, well, what about this, 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 and this? Yep. And we're spending almost $2 trillion more than we bring in. Yep. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy to say goodbye to a lot of these programs, and I think that's ultimately the biggest struggle. Well, thanks, Jay. We appreciate you. Make sure you read all of Jay's articles at the Deseret. At Deseret.com. He's the opinion editor there. Thanks, Jay.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
April breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to bombas.com/radio and use code radio for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/radio and use code radio at checkout.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
April breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Dave, and Dujanovic.
We certainly report on our share of road rage situations here in the state of Utah. Never quite heard of one that like what happened in the state of Washington. There was a driver, I don't know if it was a driver or the passenger. Somehow they end up, firing Roman candles, a firework, out of the car.
Sparks fly literally in this apparent case of road rage, and it was caught on a woman's dashboard camera. She said she was driving in Washington State last Saturday when a four-door Dodge truck started following her. When it passed her, somebody started shooting fireworks out the passenger side window. The truck took off after she pulled into a parking lot. The sheriff's department still searching for the truck and its owner.
This video was unbelievable. It was so wild to see because, of course, you see a little jockeying for position, and then all of a sudden the window rolls down, and they hold out this basically kind of look like a flare, and then it starts launching Roman candle style these little fireworks. They are not accurate. They're flying all over the place, but you see these Roman candle being shot out the window at the vehicle, and then it's kind of weird. Like the person is swerving, trying to dodge the Roman candles. Yeah. It was one of the wildest sights I've ever seen. And obviously, we've talked a lot about road rage on this show, but I've never seen the Roman candle be busted out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a very hot take, but don't road rage. I mean, settle down. People end up dead over this. I think about all the people who get caught in the crossfire of a road rage situation where they just left for work in the morning thinking about, how's my day going to go? Am I going to be able to make all the meetings? Am I going to be able to get home in time for my son's baseball game? Not knowing the answer is no. And not knowing. So because they forgot to signal, or they accidentally and didn't mean to cut somebody off, And we have reported on this so often. It just seems to me that it has escalated. It could be that we're just keeping track of these reports. Maybe it's been bad all of these years. I know it's, this isn't just a recent thing. I've been reporting on road rage incidents for years and years. But it just seems to me like we just lose control on the road, or people do, other people do. And I'm always like, what car is going to be that one car? So, as you said, this video of this passenger, now we learned that from that ABC 11 report, it was a passenger that allegedly was throwing lighting Roman candles out the window of a car. And the person that they were road raging against sounds like she's okay, thank goodness. But I just don't find it funny. And I also worry that this could happen at any moment now, because I just don't know who's going to be the one to road rage and what they're going to use against me. So I don't know how to protect myself anymore from this.
There's a couple things. Utah Highway Patrol, they've started tracking road rage incidents, and when there's some sort of an incident or a crash, was it road rage? And what they found is about a third of these incidents, the crashes, they involve a gun. So we have seen through hard data that guns are being used. So that's a little bit where I kind of chuckle. The Roman candle, there really is no danger if someone's shooting a Roman candle at you when you're in your vehicle, right? This isn't shooting one of these mortars.
Can I just say something to that? I have been hit twice, totally randomly, different incidents. One was in Holiday, one was in South Jordan with a water balloon. Total prank. Everybody thinks it's hilarious. Mm-hmm. Both times I have almost run my car off the road. It's at night. It hits me splat right in the middle of the windshield, and it just absolutely you can't figure out what's going on in that moment. So I think anytime you have something thrown out the window, whether it's a firework or somebody standing on the side of the road throwing water balloons, pummeling your car with water balloons, certainly a gun takes it to a whole new level. You run the risk of somebody getting hurt. And when somebody's road raging, the problem is you don't know when they're going to stop road raging. Like, I'm almost afraid to pull off the road because I'm afraid they're going to come after me. If I pull into a parking lot, are they going to trap me?
So where my mind goes is I'm just so grateful that there's this dash cam video. The dash camera, and I'm going to sound like I own stock in dash cameras right now, because I am shocked right now why every single one of us right now has not gone out and made the investment into dash cams. Do you have a dash cam?
No.
I don't either. Don, give me a thumbs up. Do you have a dash cam on your... No dash cam for you. You guys, a dash camera is the most obvious purchase. I can't believe we haven't fully just leaned into this, because we don't have this Roman candle firework road rage incident without her dash cam video. And she has all of the evidence. She drives up close enough. You can clearly see the license plate. I mean, they blurred it out on television, but they have that information. They have this person in custody, I'm sure, already. But the dash cam video is so affordable. Why in the world are we not making this our first investment into our vehicle?
How would you use it?
It's easy to install. You basically can just set it up, and there's lots of different. There's multi-camera dash cam videos where you can have one that shoots, out the back, one that shoots out in front. But what it does, it just records everything, and it is, again, fairly easy to install.
So while you're driving, you would use it. If you're parked, I don't guess you can get one that still runs when you're parked.
Yeah, they do have some that have like
so
a proximity
if you
sensor.
Came out and found a shopping cart on top of your windshield, you would be able to see who put said shopping cart on your windshield.
Yeah, I don't know when the car's not running how it works, but when you're in the vehicle, then it's very straightforward. Yeah. It will just record, and it kind of loops through. So
do you
if something
feel like
happens,
if we all had dash cams, like we all have Ring doorbells, or our neighbor or 7 of our neighbors have Ring doorbell cameras now that the cops can go around and collect video and see who broke into your home. If we all had dash cams, road rage incidents would plummet?
Absolutely.
You think?
I think it radically changes. If everybody has dash cam and you know that somebody, this morning, I'm driving into work, and do you know who was weaving in and out of traffic? A semi-truck. Wasn't carrying a trailer, but it was just the semi itself, weaving and speeding and tailgating in and out of traffic. And I thought, this is so outrageously dangerous.
You could even send it to the company, maybe.
I could have sent it to the company. I could have sent it to the police if I had dash cam video of that.
Yeah, because you have those phone numbers. How's my driving? Not good, but I can't take down that phone number right now. But if I have a dash cam.
Am I grabbing my phone and trying to find the app and the camera and then record it as I'm driving in there?
I've tried to take the phone number down when I've been driving before. I'm like, forget it. I'm going to crash my car trying to take this phone number down.
Dash cameras will cost you $125. The installation, you can probably figure it out yourself, but maybe $100 to install it by somebody that knows what they're doing. But I see the benefits of it being so outrageously great. We know that the best deterrent is catching people, not necessarily a harsh punishment. It is catching them. And if we're catching all the aggressive drivers early on, we will change their behavior. So it's why I'm grateful we could talk about the Roman candle firework road rage incident.
Are you in search of a fulfilling career where you can work on a team that provides you room to grow, learn, and thrive every day? Focus Engineering and Surveying is looking for individuals to join their team who take pride in the customer service they provide and have a passion for their clients to be successful. No experience in engineering, CAD design, or surveying? No problem. Focus will train those who fit their team culture for rewarding careers in surveying and CAD design. If you can align with the core ideology and the Focus team culture, if you're internally driven, team-oriented, client-focused, and love personal development and growth, Focus Engineering and Surveying is the place for you. Enjoy a positive work environment and paid internship opportunities, plus fantastic benefits like great health care with 80% employer-paid premium and HSA matched up to $200 per month, 401k, vacation, even annual performance bonuses. Start your journey towards your new and fulfilling career. Apply now at FocusUtah.com. That's FocusUtah.com.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. If this had been an actual emergency, official messages would have followed this alert tone.
All the other programs out there push the drugs, and I wanted to do it not using drugs.
Worried about all the side effects from the new weight loss drugs? Let Soda Weight Loss help you let go of the weight for good, without drugs, injections, or side effects.
It was just time. We saw ourselves in a picture and said, let's do it. And he called, and it's just been a wonderful journey. Soda has all the parts that made it successful.
Of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. Opening a My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal record and interactive tools tailored for you. You can see if you are eligible to receive benefits, view spousal benefit estimates, and compare retirement benefit estimates at different ages or dates when you want to start receiving benefits. Already receiving benefits? Use your account to change your address, set up or change direct deposit, get a proof of income letter, and more. In most states, you can also request a replacement Social Security card. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. I'm here to warn you about telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Some of these scammers may say threatening things like you will be arrested if you don't make payments or provide personal information. Do not fall for these tricks. These calls are not from us. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you for information or money. If you receive a call like this, hang up. Never give the caller your personal information, like your Social Security number or bank account, or send money in any form, cash, gift cards, wire transfers, or prepaid debit cards. Report the call to our law enforcement arm, the Office of the Inspector General, at oig.ssa.gov. Share this information with your friends and family.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
11:01 at KSL News Radio. I'm Becky Bruce. KSL's top story this hour: it could soon be easier for schools to move to a 4-day work week in Utah.
The state school board does not have a process. So that's what this bill does. It says to the state school board, we want you to create a process.
State Representative Christine Watkins says House Bill 181 would require those going to 4-day school weeks to keep track of student progress and test scores to ensure that students keep up their academic progress. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. President Trump is doubling down on his pressure to Hamas to release the remaining hostages. He suggests a ceasefire could be canceled if the remaining hostages are not all released by noon on Saturday. The BYU Cougars finish up a road trip tonight facing the West Virginia Mountaineers. It's an early game. The tip at 5. Pre-game starts at 4 right here on KSL News Radio. Your money at this moment, Dow down, honestly breaking even, really. It's only down about 4 points. S&P 500 and NASDAQ also essentially flat. Coming up, don't let the occasional snowflake throw you off your game today. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:02.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
It's the Advanced Window Products President's Day sale. If the cold is seeping in through your old windows, Advanced Window Products will install state-of-the-art double-pane windows with insulated frames. Your home will take on an exciting new look, and you're going to save on your heating bill. And not for nothing, your air conditioning in summer, and right now at the President's Day sale, you save $2,500 off 10 windows or more. For 38 years, Advanced Windows has been building beautiful custom windows and frames right here in Utah. There's no middleman, so you save. So keep out the cold, cut down your energy bills, and save $2,500 with one call to Advanced Window Products. 801-850-9100. An expert comes out for a no-pressure consultation. They'll tell you about the payment plans, including no payments for 24 months. The Advanced Window Products President's Day sale. Get $2,500 off. Call 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or just go to advancedwindows.com.
You wouldn't know it, but most financial advisors are put in a box. I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I want to provide you a little insight about financial advisors. Most financial advisors have to sell what their company requires them to sell, and many advisors have to only adhere to what's called a suitability standard. A suitability standard is a limited standard of care, not requiring what's sold to be best, just suitable. Advisors with this loose standard often have limited investment in product selection. Trajan Wealth is held to a fiduciary standard, which is the highest standard of care in the advisory business. And that's just one of the many reasons we have billions of dollars under our care and attract clients from other advisors. Raise your standards today and call Trajan Wealth. Call 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Camping season is right around the corner, and Motorsportsland is throwing a huge RV party in the KZ RV Megatent at our Mill Creek store. Come and check out hundreds of RVs, accessories, and exciting activities including kids' movie nights, RV seminars, on-site radio events, yard games, food trucks, a live performance with Ryan Shoup and the Rubber Band, and did we mention over $30,000 in prizes? Event sponsors include KZRV, Owned by Cummins, Suburban RV Appliances, Lion Energy, Lippert, Utah Big Game Outfitters, Equalizer, and many more. Free admission, free seminars, and free activities. Buy your RV with us this week and we'll beat any local dealer price or give you $100 cash. Check out motorsportsland.com for event schedule and guarantee details. Adventure awaits at Motorsportsland's Megatent RV event.
Let Motorsportsland help you get away.
4001 South State.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Here's Heather Kelly.
No slowdowns right now across the Wasatch Front. You've got good speeds on I-15, the east and west side belt routes, and I-80 going through Parley's Canyon. But we have had some scattered rain showers across several of the valleys, and sometimes it's heavy enough to just wet down the roads a little bit. It could also make them a little slick, so you may have to slow down if you're moving between dry and damp road conditions. Roses are red, violets are blue. Odyssey Dance has a Valentine deal for you. 2 tickets for the price of 1. Take your Valentine and have some fun. Visit odysseydance.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
You're going to mostly see clouds today, but occasionally a flurry could pop up. High 35, tonight's low 17. Tomorrow, cloudy and 30 degrees. Right now, cloudy 28 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. I'm Becky Bruce from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
Dave and I have talked a lot about being priced out of buying a home, your first home, $550,000, $600,000. But we rarely talk about this. How about being priced out of your water bill, your monthly water bill? A Provo couple is at the center of our discussion because water rates in the city of Provo are going to be probably going up. And they told KSL5 Television that could mean for their acre of property, Dave, they could be paying in the summertime as much as $1,000 a month just for their water bill.
Who thinks of that? When you're buying a home, do you even think about how much money you're going to be spending on water?
No.
No. Water, gas, air conditioning, all of these things, it's so easy to overlook these things. Now, you could be very excited, like, oh, this beautiful house with an acre lot.
That's exactly what I think when I look at a home.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, look at all this space. Incredible.
I don't have to reach out and see my neighbors right there. I thought, oh, this open land, this will be amazing. What you don't think about is how much is the water going to cost me today? More importantly, how much is it going to cost me when the city comes knocking and says it needs $80 million in infrastructure repairs, and this has got to be divided up between the people who use the water? And they got to do it because repairing or fixing and installing is a lot cheaper than dealing with a massive water main break. And our infrastructure is getting old in a lot of cities.
And it's one of the easiest things to ignore. You're not going to get elected because you say, hey, we want to raise a bunch of taxes and a bunch of money for infrastructure. That doesn't get you elected, but it's absolutely crucial that we make these investments. Not long ago, in the last couple of years, I had across from my home a full-on car-sized sinkhole.
Wow.
That just swallowed up a huge portion of the road.
But nobody got hurt.
No one got hurt.
Okay. When you said car size, I was like, oh, I didn't know that. A car didn't go in it.
No.
But scary. And was your water shut off while they fixed it?
Yeah, they had to shut it off. They came in, made the repairs, but it just was a great reminder. I was living in this area that had been 45, 50 years old, which is, we can't be surprised when some of these old pipes start failing.
So this has been something that the city council has been considering for a while, and my understanding is that there's a meeting this afternoon. They may take a vote on it tonight, but it sounds like to me when we spoke earlier to the Provo City Council Vice Chair, Rachel Whipple, she called the show in the 9 o'clock hour, that this is going to be a tiered approach, that the water rates potentially, if it is put in place, will go up some now, in the next year it'll go up until the year 2033, the rates will continue to increase. And if you use more, well, you're going to pay more.
Yeah, we are trying to avoid being punitive in every way that we can here. One issue that we have to consider is that the cost of the system is related to the highest demand, the most use that we have on the single highest water use day in the summer. We have to have a system with that level of capacity. And so the water users who use the most are the ones who put us into that higher tier of having a more expensive system that we all are paying for.
One of the questions I have, and I'm looking forward to a conversation we'll have with Provo City's Public Works Director. When it comes to infrastructure, is there a cheaper way to do it? Like, can we go in there and repipe this old infrastructure, kind of like we do our house? Or do you have to rip up every road in Provo to do this? Because I just don't know enough about it. Is it easier to just go in and maybe more cost effective to address the problems once they happen, or should we be preemptive? And should we repipe now that 40, 50 years has passed, or maybe in some cases, even here in Salt Lake, where they're 80 or 100 years old?
When you're worried about the infrastructure, I'm worried about the bill. $1,000. That's what the Robertsons told KSL5 television when they talked to him. So they own an acre of property, large trees, a garden. For perspective, they have a small fruit orchard. They've lived in their home for a long time. They currently pay between $400 and $500 a month. Imagine that's in the summer. But under this tiered system, years down the road, as the rates continue to increase, they could see water bills of $1,000 a month. So let's bring on the Public Works Director for the City of Provo, Gordon Haight. Did I say it right?
You did. That's
Hi,
correct.
Hi, Gordon. Thanks for joining us. Look, I'd imagine you're getting an earful from residents who aren't happy that their water rates could go up as high as, I guess, for the Robertsons, more than 100%.
Yes, and I'm not familiar with everybody's cases, but yeah, certainly it would increase water rates, and that's a real consideration for the council. They're very concerned about that, and want to make a good decision on it. I think there's two things that are being considered. One is looking at creating a tiered water system, and the second is the water rate. On the tiered water system that the City Council is considering tonight would be that there'd be a base rate, and then because water costs more for cities to produce in the summer, higher summer peak rates would be at a higher cost. And that's a lot of where you would see people's costs going up, because right now with a flat water rate, kind of like what Provo has, even if you use a little bit of water, you're still paying for the heavy water users. So doing the tiered rate adds a little more equity to the system, so that you're paying less if you're buying the less expensive water. And then if you're using a lot of water, particularly in the summer where irrigation comes in, then you're paying what that water costs to produce. So I think that is part of the issue that you're seeing with the cost increase.
We're speaking with Gordon Haight, who's the Public Works Director in Provo City, and I think this does bring up a very good conversation about infrastructure and how do we address this, because obviously this is something we don't think about unless there's a problem. I have a sinkhole across the street from my house. It's hard to ignore. We have to address it. But as the Public Works Director, give us an idea if we want to update our infrastructure, does that just mean we have to tear open every road in our city, or is there an easier way to repipe or to modernize some of these systems?
It's really never going to be too feasible to go through and replace your old pipe through an entire city, just because the cost is so prohibitive. And so most cities, including Provo, tries to use a lot of innovative ways where we work with developers, or there's another utility, a gas line or water, sewer, or something else comes through, and then piggyback so that your costs are shared of repatching the road, repaving the road. To go through and just do a carte blanche replacement every pipe is extremely expensive. You got to remember that all those pipes were put in by developers. Cities really never had the money to put all that infrastructure in. So to replace all that, to come up with all the money that developers put in the first place is a task that really can't be met. However, there are some pipes that become so bad that we're replacing that you do have to go in and repair a street. But to do it through citywide is a Herculean challenge. And one of the problems that Provo has is that we're an older city. And so we have pipes. Some pipes are still actively in use. They're 80, 90, 70 years old. And we're finding our crews are going out and replacing quite a bit. So that's the second part of what the city council is considering is a water rate. And so the two issues together, one is the tiering and one's the water rate, to come and address what you described as the infrastructure concerns that Provo is trying to address. And I think the city can look at some really creative ways to also, in the way it raise revenue, and in partnering with other groups and looking at other opportunities to save money. So there's an opportunity to talk about a rate and maybe look at it, postponing as we look at other kinds of things that may be useful down the road.
Gordon, before we let you go, and by the way, Gordon Haight is the Public Works Director with the City of Provo. Provo City Council meeting again tonight over a potential water rate increase that some people say will just double their water bills. Does it feel like the City of Provo waited too long to make some of these fixes with an $80 million project now staring at them in the face?
I think the city has been fairly aggressive in making sure that we're in a good place. We're kind of at a tipping point where we need to start really evaluating some of the future. Most of the cities in the state have done a tiered water rate, and that, I think, is where you're seeing a lot of the concern, where heavy users of water are going to start experiencing that much higher increase, even if we don't increase the rate and the revenue stays neutral. And some of that's bad because that, like you said, people on incomes that are set. Others, it may give them pause and opportunity to reevaluate this higher cost, and there's maybe some things they could do in their watering that could be adjusted. But either way, it is a hardship for those that could possibly experience that increase due to the tiering. And and again, this is a decision the council will make tonight, and we're going to hear what they have to say and show them what the issues are with the system. And in the past, there's been a lot of good decisions. So right now, we're looking at since COVID, there's just been this escalation of prices that have made it very challenging for not just city public works, but all industries to keep up with the costs, and trying to manage that system is challenging.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. Gordon Haight is the Public Works Director in Provo.
And he mentioned that maybe there's some things that we can all be doing to mitigate the costs of and the use how much water we use. So let's bring on Tom Bettis. He's the co-host of KSL's Greenhouse Show, also Utah State University Extension Associate Professor, a horticulturist. I mean, the list is so long of accolades there, Ton. But when I look at people who are facing these rate hikes in their water bills, I get worried about them because I think, housing is so expensive as it is. Everything costs more, and then they're staring at rate hikes, whether it's 25 extra bucks a month or 100 extra bucks a month. What's your top tip to reducing our water use? Maybe we can save a little bit of money if the rate hikes do take effect.
Well, the top tip I have is to monitor your soil. I mean, we still have a lot of people setting their sprinkler clock and forgetting about it, especially if they haven't faced a lot of hikes in price for their water. And to be able to just even get a screwdriver with a long shaft on it and go out and poke it around in the soil in your lawn, the average person in Utah can reduce their watering by 30 to 50%, and it won't make their lawn or their yard turn brown. It's just the fact that we still water too much.
We're just watering way too much, and for some reason I don't know why we were stuck in that habit.
So how am I testing this? How do I figure out whether or not I've overwatered?
Well, you start, a smart clock will help with this, but to just go out and try to get a handle on how long to water, run your sprinklers for 20 or 30 minutes, and then the next morning, after the water has had a chance to soak in, get a screwdriver and just walk around your lawn and poke it into the soil. That screwdriver should go in about 6 inches deep, maybe a little deeper, and what you would do is just do that daily until you start to feel a lot of resistance to almost having to use a hammer to get that screwdriver to go in. And so your lawn won't be brown, but you'll know that it's probably time to water again. And if you can figure this out, you water 2 to maybe 3 times a week so that water penetrates into the soil, that 6 inches to 9 inches. It will make your lawn healthier, and it will reduce the amount of water you're putting on your lawn.
Where else do we tend to waste water in the yard? Because I think the yard is the biggest water guzzler in the summertime.
It is.
Is there another space? Is there one other spot you want us to be looking at?
There are. Park strips are another big water waster. You have to have a park strip at least 6 or 7 feet wide to efficiently sprinkle it for lawn. And if it's only 4 or 5 feet, there aren't any sprinklers that exist that won't spray water all over the sidewalks and the road. And it's really hard to get them angled correctly to even water that park strip. And so there are several programs out there available with rebates that you can actually tear that grass out, put in some drip irrigation, and probably reduce the amount of water you're using in the park strip by 50 to 70%.
Ton, final question. We heard this story about the Robertsons and how much their water bill's going to jump from $500 to up to $1,000 in the peak summer months. But they have a property with large trees, a garden, a small fruit orchard. What can you do when you have trees? Is there a way to monitor or make sure that you're not overwatering for the trees?
There are. Those trees are often neglected when we talk about water conservation, and they can actually play an important role in saving water because when they shade the soil, you lose a lot more water even though they use some of it. And so what the conservancy districts want you to do, especially if those trees are going to be in areas where you don't have turf, is you've got to install drip. And you use what's called gridded drip, and so you're not just watering by the trunk of a mature tree, but you have to water under the entire canopy. But most trees, with the exception of like willow and cottonwood, are perfectly happy being deep watered every 10 days to 2 weeks. And so you would water to a depth of a foot or 18 inches, but then just cut that water off and do it again in 10 days or 2 weeks. And if you can water deeply less often, that mimics what they would get in the wild, and it actually keeps them a lot healthier because their roots go just a little bit deeper and they're better better able to fend off diseases and pests and things because we're more mimicking what they would get in a natural forest situation.
Oh, that's such great tips. Thank you so much, Don, for joining us.
You're welcome.
You hear Don every week on the Greenhouse Show on Saturday morning. So thanks, Don.
Yeah, I think what's happening in Provo is a sign of things to come for other cities with aging infrastructure. I don't think it's going to be isolated to, one community in Utah County. I think we're going to start seeing this. I mean, you saw it up in Davis County where you live. I know we're reporting from time to time here at the KSLs about water main breaks. It's aging infrastructure. Cities cannot saddle an $80 million repair project without collecting the money somehow, some way. And the one way Provo is looking at doing it is that you use more, you pay more, a tiered system.
One of my aha moments as we were talking to the public works director in Provo is he said, you have to remember, a lot of this infrastructure was not paid originally by the city. This was done by the developers. So that cost, that initial cost, is not falling on the city, but the repairs often do.
Join the smartest conversation in Utah, the team of analysts and political advisors that make up Inside Sources. Get unfiltered analysis of the new administration, the president's cabinet, and Utah's upcoming legislative session. Inside Sources, weekdays from 1 to 3 on KSL News Radio.
Did you know the Social Security Trust Fund is projected to run out of money in less than 10 years? Yes, 10 years. And according to Barron's, this could cost the average couple $16,500 every year in lost income. Now multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could easily add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why it's critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security. Learn more in a free report, your guide to filing for Social Security in 2025 and beyond. It's from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, get your free report now by calling 801-251-1046. 801-251-1046. That number again, 801-251-1046.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water, but you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Fishes is skipping this year's big RV show for a big reason. It costs each dealer a fortune. And guess who gets stuck with the bill? Yep, you. So skip the big show expense and come to the Bish's RV Better Than Show Pricing On-Site event, February 13th through the 15th at Bish's RV of Salt Lake and American Fork. You'll get free admission, free parking, and Better Than Show pricing on our entire inventory at both locations. Not just a few models we hauled to the show. Find pricing starting as low as $139 per month on approved credit and make 0 payments until May OAC. Plus, every remaining new 2024 on the lot is on clearance. And Bish's is the only place to shop the exclusive full lineup of Wayfinder RVs. Start shopping the best deals now at skipthervshow.com. Get free admission to the Better Than Show Pricing On-Site event, February 13th through the 15th at Bish's RV in Salt Lake and American Fork, where memories begin. OAC, based on 20% down, 8.99% APR for 180 months. Stock number is 84832, 84308. Subject to prior sale. See delivery details. Deal number 822B426B.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it
down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
All the other programs out there push the drugs, and I wanted to do it not using drugs.
Worried about all the side effects from the new weight loss drugs? Let Soda Weight Loss help you let go of the weight for good, without drugs, injections, or side effects.
It was just time. We saw ourselves in a picture and said, let's do it. And he called, and it's just been a wonderful journey. Soda has all the parts that made it successful for us to lose weight. The counseling without drugs, it's the best program in my book.
Soda Weight Loss is the #1 weight loss program in America for client satisfaction and results. And we have the proof at sodaweightloss.com. Right now, when you join with a partner, you only pay for one. Let Soda Weight Loss help you drop that belly fat faster than you ever dreamed, naturally. Go to sodaweightloss.com right now. Achieve your weight loss goals with your partner and only pay for one. New clients only. Join now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Soda is state of the art.
.30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Becky Bruce. KSL's top local story this hour. It could be a lot harder soon to re-elect a sitting judge in Utah. A bill before the legislature would increase how much of the vote they need to stay in office, from a simple majority to 2/3 of the vote. KSL legal analyst Greg Skorda says he doesn't think this is necessary.
It's probably not going to make a difference because we've seen a number of judges who almost always exceed that amount. But it just seems to be a little bit of something to punish the judiciary.
We have reached out to the bill's sponsor for comment, but have not yet heard back. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Vice President J.D. Vance is overseas for his first foreign trip as second in command. He's in Paris today for a summit on artificial intelligence, and he's been blasting excessive regulation as possibly holding back innovation. Major refugee aid groups are suing the Trump administration. They filed a lawsuit in district court in Seattle asking that Trump's executive order to suspend the federal refugee resettlement program be declared illegal. An attorney for the International Refugee Assistance Project says the U.S. has a moral and legal obligation to protect refugees. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up about 36 points, or just shy of 0.1% right now. S&P 500 and NASDAQ are both in the red. Coming up, we'll tell you what you can expect this afternoon and how chilly it's going to get overnight. KSL News Time, 11:32.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
You've seen driving around your neighborhood for years and years, Master Electrical Service vans. And hey, listen, they're still around. They've just been rebranded a little bit. They joined with Mountain Air, and they formed this great company, Mountain Home Services.
Which is awesome because it means that there's so many things that you can have them do. They can fix your recessed lighting. Maybe you need recessed lighting in that living room because you're working from a single lamp in the corner. You're looking for a new generator? Give them a call. Maybe you need your HVAC worked on, your heating and air, your plumbing. Give them a call. And now they have added gas fireplaces to the menu.
And they don't just farm this out and shop it out to a bunch of people they've never worked with before and using subcontractors. They do this all in-house, so you can understand and realize that you're going to have that same level of trust and expertise every time you call them.
And it all comes with that upfront pricing guarantee that you and I have been talking so much about. That means the price they quote you up front is the price you pay when the job is done.
Check them out online at mountainhomeservices.com. That's mountainhomeservices.com.
Or you can call them. They'd love to hear from you. 801-543-2222. Again, that phone number, 801-543-2222. 2222.
Transform your home into a haven this Valentine's Day with Zero Res carpet and air duct cleaning. Nothing says I care like a pristine living space. Did you know your carpets can trap up to 40 pounds of dust and debris each year? It's time to refresh your home. Zero Res uses a patented cleaning process without harsh chemicals, ensuring your carpets stay cleaner longer and are safe for both kids and pets. Plus, with faster dry times, your carpets will be ready in hours, not days. Right now, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $109. And if you mention KSL News Radio, you'll get a hallway clean for free. Looking to go beyond carpets? Zero Res offers upholstery, tile, and even air duct cleaning. And with their Gotta Love It guarantee, if you're not satisfied, they'll re-clean the area for free within 30 days. Let Zero Res help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 866-ZERO-RES or online at zerores.com to schedule your appointment today.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery. Ends President's Day. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. Here's Ricky Meese.
Right now, we are looking at a quiet commute once again. We are seeing that earlier issues on the roads have been cleared, including the accident on northbound I-15 after 4500 south. All the Valley freeways are looking at a good drive at this time. Whipple Service Champions, your cooling, heating, plumbing, drains, and electrical specialist. Whipple that away. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
You're mostly going to see clouds today, but occasionally a flurry. High 35 degrees. Tonight it's going to be chilly at 17 for the low. Tomorrow, a high of 30. Right now, you've got some flurries downtown, 27 degrees in Salt Lake City. I'm Becky Bruce from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
I love the work that our KSL 5 investigative team does, and KSL 5's Matt Gephardt in-house with us in studio right now. I really love this story when I saw it. I was like, I can't wait to talk to Matt about it. Can you save money by making your food from scratch? I think this is a great conversation to have right now because we're all looking for ways to save money at the grocery store.
I have a couple experiences where I 100% thought making it from scratch was going to save me $1 million. And I was so disappointed. It was unbelievable.
Well, I got to get one of those radio salaries.
No, this is... I'm excited to hear where your success stories are, Matt, because I had a terrible success story.
It really comes down to cost of convenience, right? And so we did this last night at 10 o'clock, and it was we picked a bunch of random things that you buy processed at the grocery store. We did granola bars, we did ice cream, we did pasta sauce, we did what else did we do? We did 5 things: bread. And we did a salad dressing.
Okay.
And these kind of things that can come with a certain amount of price. That said, these 5 items out the door only cost us $18.
Okay.
And then we tried buying all the raw ingredients to make them. And how much did we save in the process? And we ended up saving like 36%. So if you are somebody who likes to fuss around in the kitchen, there are some savings to be had there, to be sure.
Well, you had me at pasta sauce because I always buy it, in the jar. Yeah.
And there are people who will say it's sacrilege to buy it in the jar. What are you doing? You know?
I mean, and that they're amazing, and and they're chefs like in the kitchen. Yeah, no. So, how much did that end up saving you?
That one was
a couple bucks.
Yeah,
almost a couple
buck
bucks.
and a half, I think, was on that one.
It was probably better too. Did you taste it?
I did, and it was. You know which one really kind of blew my mind was I don't have an ice cream maker, and I assumed the only way to do ice cream was have an ice cream maker. Well, sort of like
Can you do it in like a can?
You can do it in the blender, and it was so good. It was like amazingly good, and it cut the price in like half from the cheapest ice cream we could find in the store. It was just this turned out really good in this stupid little Tupperware container with a little cream and a little milk and a little vanilla and sugar and lots of sugar. I had no idea how much sugar was in ice cream. My goodness, but there you go.
We don't need a device for everything we make in the kitchen, but they're out there on the shelves when we go shopping. So we think, we need that device.
Yeah.
Granola bars. That was the one. I'm like, what are Sloan and Matt doing making granola bars? How did that go?
Stupid easy, and it was really good. It was you like warmed up some peanut butter, and you warmed up some honey, and you can make them however you want, and that's what we chose to do. And then just some raw oats, just some oatmeal that doesn't have any water in it, and you put the stuff in a bowl and you mixed it up, and you put it in a Pyrex, and you put it in the fridge for I can't remember a few hours, and it came out, and it was stupid good.
Stop it.
Okay,
that's amazing.
That's literally all it is involved in a granola bar that I have paid probably $1 million for over the years.
Okay, here's the really
that's all they're doing.
And listen, anybody who's watching this on Facebook right now, not a health guru, this guy. But that said, it was kind of cool to like when you flip over the boxes of granola bars and you see the stuff that goes in it, like sugar, like this and that, and then you see other things that go into it that you can't pronounce in some of the cases of some of these things, right?
Maltodextrin,
color 27 dye 32 or whatever.
I'm also thinking like, my daughter cannot consume gluten, and I told her years ago when we first got her diagnosed, I said, all of these packaged food, they see you coming, right? So if it's gluten-free on the package, the price is up by $1 or $2 or $3 or $4. Like I just bought a bag of gluten-free flour. A bag of flour, what is that, $3 or $4 for a regular bag? It was $12 for a bag of flour. So I'm looking at like granola bars through a different lens.
Sure.
I've got gluten-free oats at home right now. I've got all the ingredients to make this, and I will save myself a bundle of money over buying processed gluten-free granola bars. I love this. I love it. Did you save a lot of money in the it's at 36%?
About 36%. So, $6 off of $18, it's like, come on, $6, what are you doing here? But if you do that for a lot of things, and we've in the past, we did a whole series called Cost of Convenience a couple of years ago where we looked at things like what's the difference between buying everything you need to make fajitas, where like you walk into the store and they have the packet where you just literally have to turn it over and put it in the thing versus what you paid at a store to buy these things. To actually buy a restaurant, I should say, to buy these things, versus buying all of the raw ingredients and taking the time to chop it up yourself.
You bring them out on fire in the kitchen.
I'm not gonna lie. I knew a guy who worked at Chili's, snuck me one of the plates. So yeah, I got one of those. I do sometimes. Yeah,
stop it.
It's a special Valentine's Day treat.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but it's so we've done the cost of convenience stuff. This was really more like the pantry staples, like the stuff I never really thought about. Like, I could do that myself. One of the ones that I've been doing for years because somebody told me it was so much cheaper was Italian seasoning. You can buy a thing of Italian seasoning, and for some reason it's a $1,000,000 because it's one of the specialty seasonings. But when you just buy like a little oregano and a little, I can't remember what else goes in.
Thyme and rosemary.
You buy that stuff, you throw it in, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's cheaper.
It's just so much cheaper.
Yeah.
All right, here's my experience. There are places you should absolutely pasta sauce. Okay, I get it. One thing that I found, I thought I was going to save a ton of money making was my own beef jerky, and I was shocked. It's basically the same price at the store. Like trying to make it my own, slicing my meat,
$12 for
finding
one
the
strip.
It was unbelievably experienced.
I never buy beef jerky. First of all, I cannot rip it apart with my teeth.
Yeah.
And also, it's always expensive. So you're saying you didn't save any money by doing it?
No, I mean I have the jaws of a hippopotamus. Like I can bite through anything. It's super easy for me. So I love beef jerky, but I was shocked at how expensive it was to make it. So when I saw what it cost me in time, money, and effort, and then what they're selling it at the store, it didn't make me feel so bad about buying store beef jerky.
Matt, are you running off to eat your homemade granola bars and homemade ice cream right now?
They're long gone.
Samples?
No,
they're long gone. That's
they're so good.
My belly, my producer's belly, my photographer's belly. Those were long consumed.
Well, I want to extend an invitation for you to stick around because I'm sure our listeners would love to hear.
Yeah.
Right, chat right with the Matt Gephardt of KSL5 Television, who went shopping and basically tried to make 5 different things from scratch and found out he saved 36%.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
And not on everything. To Dave's point, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Were you going to put the phone number out or something?
801-575-TALK, 801-575-TALK, but you go ahead.
I was just going to say, it wasn't, to your point, there were things, we saved like half on ice cream this day, and we ended up saving like nothing on the salad dressing, right?
Yes.
And now I would argue the salad dressing we bought was one of the cheap ones, and the one we made was, I thought, really tasty.
Yeah.
In fact, I've remade it since
better.
because it tasted
really
really good. The fresh garlic, right? Just the fresh garlic being pressed into that.
Okay, so we are going to ask our listeners to call in with their made-from-scratch recipe.
And how much they're saving.
And how much they're saving. Yeah. Does it save you money?
Yeah.
I got mine. I'll tell you mine in 3 minutes. Tell us yours, 801-575-TALK. Matt's on standby. Give us a call.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Salt Lake Community College is dedicated to fostering an environment of respect and empathy, enriched by diverse cultures and perspectives. By valuing collaboration, inclusivity, and innovation, SLCC ensures students receive outstanding educational experiences and professional development opportunities. President Greg Peterson joins us with more.
Utah is one of the nation's fastest growing states, bringing both opportunities and the challenge of developing a skilled, educated workforce to support our thriving and rapidly evolving economy. With over 52,000 students, Salt Lake Community College plays a vital role in preparing Utahns for success. By aligning education with industry needs, SLCC ensures students are equipped to fill essential roles in key sectors like healthcare, technology, advanced manufacturing, and more. This transformative work changes lives. Students gain the skills and training needed to secure bright futures for themselves and their families. Additionally, with most SLCC graduates staying in Utah, they contribute directly to the strength and vitality of our communities, driving growth, innovation, and prosperity statewide. SLCC is proud to support Utah's people and businesses, helping ensure our state continues to thrive. To learn more about our impact, visit slcc.edu/community.
Salt Lake Community College shapes Utah's future by equipping thousands of students with essential skills for success in fields like healthcare, technology, and manufacturing. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Hi, I'm Miley O'Keefe. In competitive gymnastics, flexibility and precision are crucial, and Les Olson IT knows how important flexibility and precision are to your business. It's why they deliver the very best IT security, office equipment, collaborative technology, and so much more. Let Les Olson IT's Perfect 10 service empower your business at lesolsonit.com.
Les Olson IT.
Dave and Dujanovic.
KSL5 Television's Matt Gephardt taking us up into the lunch hour, talking about the money he and his producer Sloan saved when they went out shopping for basic ingredients that they could make things that, you processed foods that you can buy, like granola bars. They saved money making those at home from scratch. Salad dressing didn't save a lot of money on that, but you said it tasted better than
I thought it
store-bought?
did. Yeah, the one that we compared to the one we bought. I have remade it since, yes.
Ice cream?
I thought it was better. I
And
did.
you
I
made
thought
it
it was
in a
better.
blender.
I made it in a blender. I poured it into a Tupperware thing, and it was like, this is fresh. This is legit.
We're taking live calls. What's that one thing you make from scratch at home that you know saves you a bundle of money? 801-575-TALK. Dave, you said beef jerky didn't do it for you?
No, beef jerky, it's so time-consuming. Buying the curing agent and the flavorings and the beef, very expensive. I figured out it's about the same price as it is at the store. So that wasn't a big savings for me. I was disappointed.
Hi, Bill.
Hello.
Hey, good time going on in Lehigh today. How you doing down there?
Good. I have a question that kind of comes from your previous show, your conversation with the increasing cost of water in my garden, where we make a lot of spaghetti sauce and salsas. I'm starting to wonder if it's cheaper to buy commercial stuff rather than growing your own now.
Yeah, I'm always buying the commercial stuff. I buy spaghetti sauce in the jar. Can't remember the last time I made it from scratch, but what do you remember? How much did you end up paying to make it from scratch there?
Oh, God. Yeah, we saved about $1. I think it was about $3 for the jar we bought, and we ended up paying about $2. I'll say this, though, Bill. I mean, gardening, for my experience, is never something you do to save money. I mean, I have a garden, and I do that because I mean, it's like I have a garden, and I will, when the season is right, I'll get all those tomatoes off that garden, and they taste way better than anything you can find anywhere. Maybe except for the farmer's market, and so I'm a big fan of gardening in my own tomatoes, and I know I'm losing money on it.
Oh yeah, you're losing money hand over fist. And listen, chickens and eggs. The price of eggs have gone through the roof. Have you ever tried to raise a chicken or build a coop?
I did a whole story on it.
Yes.
I did a whole story on this. Yes, and by the way, I used to raise ducks, and we used to eat their eggs like crazy. But yeah, I mean, when you start getting into, it'll pay off eventually. And also, by the way, it's fun having these things around. They eat snails in your backyard, and they fertilize like crazy and stuff. I think having ducks and chickens is fun. And they're pets, and they're lawn art, and it's great. But yeah, when you start getting into things like you got to build the coop, it is definitely the kind of thing that's going to take you a minute before you make your money back.
Hi, Bill. Apparently, we got to be named Bill to make it through on the line today. So.
This is Ogden Bill. That was Lehigh Bill.
What are you making to save money?
Well, we tried it about 2 months ago. I have a family of 5, and everyone inhales yogurt. So we Googled it, and we make our own Greek yogurt. If you have an Instapot, all it takes is a gallon of whole milk and a starter culture, which is just a plain Greek yogurt that you buy from the store. Put it in, run it in the pot for a few hours, and you'll have your own Greek yogurt. Saves us about a third on it.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Taste? Does it taste any good?
Taste, you can flavor yourself. You can put your own fruit. I was thinking on doing the granola Gephardt was talking about adding to it.
Yeah.
Bill, I cannot believe I forgot this. I totally do this. I make my own Greek yogurt. It tastes just like plain Greek yogurt. So it's absolutely the same. It is a fraction of the cost. Super easy to do, especially, as you said, in the Instapot. But I've also done my own mozzarella cheese. So I make my own mozzarella cheese, and that's a fraction of the cost as well. So those are two things that I absolutely make from scratch to save a bunch of money.
Yeah, Dave and I chatting with Matt Gephardt at KSL5 TV. You can see his full report at KSLTV.com. It's entitled, Can You Save Money by Making Your Food from Scratch? He and producer Sloan saved some money. They said 36% making 5 different items, although salad dressing kind of broke even on that. But the rest of the things you made, like granola bars and ice cream, you saved some money on it. I make bread from scratch, and it's a 4-ingredient recipe if you count the water. Otherwise, it's a 3-ingredient recipe. I use flour. I use yeast, of course, so it can rise. Salt. I like lots of salt. And if I have some pre-crushed garlic, I'll throw that in there too to sort of flavor it up. Just so that's another little ingredient. But yeah, I mean it's a full loaf, and I let it rise overnight, and I put it in the oven the next day. And I can tell you, I save a bundle on that, and it is delicious. I have it the next morning for breakfast. I also love fresh squeezed orange juice when I do drink orange juice. I think that saves money if you can buy the oranges on sale. Yeah, if you can buy the oranges on sale. How about this text? What do you think about this, Matt and Dave? This texter says, my daughter makes awesome protein bars. Also said, good show today. So what do you think? You made granola bars. What do you think about making protein bars?
First of all, I would agree. Great show today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious what the recipe would be, but it's I suppose a little whey protein that you buy in bulk and
I make
mix it in.
protein balls, and I put some chia seeds in those, some flax seeds, some protein, peanut butter or peanut butter powder, easy to make, and they're delicious.
Yeah, I was gonna say the granola bars we made, we put in a ton of peanut butter, and so a lot of protein there. But
helps it stick.
Yeah.
All right, Dakota in Syracuse. Oh, you're speaking my language with this one. What do you do to save money?
Yeah, so me and my wife, we've decided that we were going to try and save money by doing sourdough bread. Surprisingly, it's really hot. It's a really hot topic right now. A lot of people crave it, and you can do a whole bunch of different recipes with it. It basically takes, if you can find a really good starter that's been going for a while, you can pick them up for like $5-10 depending on who you get it from, and then a bag of flour, and it typically takes about 2 days. But if you can wait, the reward is so great. And plus, if you're selling it, if you go to the store and go get sourdough bread, you're looking at anywhere between $13 to $18 a loaf. But if you can find someone who makes it from scratch, out of that one bag of flour, you could sell it like you could possibly buy it for a lot cheaper. But for us, like out of one bag, we could probably make 4 loaves, maybe. So I mean, that's like $40 saved.
We're already on our way to Syracuse for a sample of sourdough. Have you tried making bread, Matt?
We made bread for this story. My first legal job was working at a bakery. So I didn't do it for this story, but I actually have a little bread maker, and I do a little jalapeno cheddar in this thing where it's one of those, it's a fantastic little stupid bread maker, only makes them, the size of a
they're
remote
tiny.
control. They're small little loaves of bread, but I throw in cheddar cheese and jalapeno, and makes
Speaking my language.
best grilled cheese sandwiches.
This texter says that they make mac and cheese from scratch. I do.
What do you use for cheese? Just cheese, I guess.
Yeah, shredded cheese.
No way that's cheaper. Mac and cheese is the cheapest thing. I mean, it's like one barely step above ramen, which is 30 cents a package.
I will say it tastes delicious. I agree with this texter.
I bet it tastes better.
It tastes better for sure.
I bet it tastes better.
No
way it's
20
cheaper
minutes.
though. When you're using real cheese versus the powdered stuff from mac and cheese, no way it's cheaper.
I got a package of real cheese yesterday at the store for $1.97.
That just bought you 37 boxes of mac and cheese.
No, come on.
Yeah, it's, 237? That stuff is basically
I got
free.
kids at the mac and cheese age. Mac and cheese will cost you a couple of bucks anymore.
Yeah.
Are you shocked,
What are the
brother?
things? What are
You're
the
getting
things
like
you
the
don't
bougie mac and cheese.
What are the things you don't do? There are things that I won't like. There's just not worth it because
I will no longer roast a chicken because I go to Costco and get it for $5.
Yeah.
I
That's
haven't
cheating.
roasted a chicken.
That's not a good
You think
example
it's
because that's a
cheating?
loss. That's a loss leader with Costco. Yeah.
Matt, thank you so much for joining us. Matt Gephardt, love having him on the show. Such a fun topic. Is it cheaper to make it from scratch? Yes. Yeah. Heck yeah, it is. Most of the time, but not always. Thanks, Matt.